Something good.
Get ready to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely.
Laura Lodge.
She's going to lead us off.
Well, no, let's start with the pledge.
Jill Lewis, would you lead us off in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's the woman that's running the show here. She came up.
Reverend?
All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Reverend Stiles. See, I'm all messed up. Reverend Stiles, would you lead us off? Did I say no?
Reverend Wright.
Reverend Wright and Lauren Stiles. Reverend Wright, would you lead us off in our invocation? I think it is on. It's on as much as it'll go on. Larry, is it on?
Okay.
It's on now.
Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Join me in prayer, please. Compassionate and loving God of many names, we gather here this evening to listen, to learn, to support, and discern the work of our local elected government officials. We, the citizens who have elected these officials, bear a responsibility and privilege to share and have a say in this governance. Tonight we will be made aware of dysautonomia, a dysfunction of various automatic diseases, so we will be better equipped to share information on the symptoms with our community. We ask, O God, that in this evening's agenda and deliberations, and in all meetings and thoughts, that you would give this town board and all who serve the town of Riverhead the degree of humility, wisdom, and courage they will need to help us to be and become all that we are meant to be. We ask that you will guide them with your spirit within them as their vision, planning, and decision-making affect not only them and their families, but all of us together, and even our future town. Now, O God, may you bless this town board with love and compassion for all this town's many diverse peoples, the young and the old, the rich and the poor, black, brown, and white, gay and straight, native and immigrant, those with disabilities and those able-bodied, the sick and the well, and the documented and the desperate, whatever religion or denomination or whatever political party, bless us all, for we are all your beloved children. May we be a blessing to one another, and we pray with great confidence that you hear and love us all. May it be so. Amen.
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 Thank
Right,
you.
thank you very much. Okay, Jan, where is Jan? Come on up. So, Jan Gabriella, did I say that right?
Yep.
Is our local artist in resident, if you will. She's has a art display on this wall on the outside, and I would like her to just introduce herself. And she is a former student of East End Arts Council, and I guess a graduate of the program. If you could just introduce what you're doing and yourself, that would be wonderful.
Hello, I'm Jan Gabriela Parapat, and I'm a local resident of Riverhead. And yes, I've been part of East End Arts since I was 5 years old, and had help with my portfolio, which I then went to Maryland Institute College of Art down in Baltimore, and have come back to Riverhead. And now I'm exhibiting a paper cut show here, and then in November, after the show ends here, we'll have another exhibit at the Riverhead Town Library. So please enjoy this one, and see you also in the winter. Thank you.
Ms. Gabriella, thank you. It's beautiful. If you look at it, it's normally we have paintings, but it's all cut paper, and the depth and the texture, I don't know anything about art, but it's pretty cool. So before you leave, make sure you all go out that way and look. Thank you very much, Miss. Okay, we have, Jody, you have a proclamation or, this is a proclamation. Oh, sorry, John. We're not going out in order. Yeah, we've got this under control, guys. Now we want Lauren Stiles.
George Gabrielson outfit on.
And you can absolutely, because Ms. Giglio is going, Councilwoman Giglio has a proclamation.
I'd be very impressed if you can pronounce these words.
I know, well,
That's why I gave it to Jody.
How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Okay, so we have a proclamation because October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. Okay. It is both fitting and proper that the town board of the town of Riverhead join Dysautonomia International in raising awareness of dysautonomia. And Dysautonomia International is a non-profit volunteer organization established in 2012 by parents and patients whose mission is to identify the causes and cures for all forms of dysautonomia and to enhance the quality of life of people currently living with this illness. Dysautonomia is an umbrella term used to describe a group of neurological disorders that involve the autonomic nervous system, which controls most of the essential functions of the body that we do not consciously think about, such as a heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, dilation, and constriction of the pupils of the eye and temperature. Some forms of dysautonomia can be very disabling and can result in social isolation and financial hardship, causing tremendous pain and suffering for those impacted by this disease. Some of the disorders include postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, neurocardiogenic syncope, syncope, orthostatic intolerance, autoimmune ganglionopathy, amongst others. And dysautonomia has no boundaries. It impacts people of any age, gender, race, or background. There is no cure for dysautonomia. Despite the fact that over 70 million people worldwide live with various forms of dysautonomia, most patients take years to get diagnosed due to a lack of awareness amongst the public and within the medical profession. Let it be known that we support Dysautonomia International in their efforts to bring awareness to our community about this debilitating disease. Increased awareness will help patients get diagnosed and treated earlier, will save lives, and foster support for individuals and families coping with dysautonomia. Now further, during Dysautonomia Awareness Month, we encourage all community members to support families coping with dysautonomia, offer encouragement to patients, remember lost loved ones, and appreciate the efforts of those who work to treat and support those affected by dysautonomia. And therefore, Sean Walter, Supervisor of the Town of Riverhead, does hereby proclaim the month of October is Dysautonomia Awareness Month in the Town of Riverhead. We pay tribute to the families, friends, professionals, and communities who lend their strength to those fighting dysautonomia and to those who are battling dysautonomia. May their courage and commitment continue to move us toward a cure, healthier outcomes, and a brighter future for all. And it's signed by the supervisor and council members. And I want to present this proclamation to you. And we'll get into
Most educational proclamation we've had.
Okay.
Carol does a wonderful job.
Great.
Reading.
For Cuban, they couldn't even pronounce anything, so.
Well,
Would you like to say something?
Sure, just really briefly, I think this is a pretty educational proclamation. We just wanted to thank the town for doing this. The folks that are up here, except my husband, we all have different forms of dysautonomia. And it's something that's really common that no one really has ever heard of, which is why we started this organization in 2012. If you know anyone who's lightheaded, fainty, gets a lot of chest pains, gets migraines when they stand up too long, they might have a form of dysautonomia. So we encourage you to Google it, look us up. We're the first thing that shows up when you Google it. Good luck spelling it. But actually, there's a quicker way to get to our website. There's a type of dysautonomia called POTS, which is the most common form, P-O-T-S. And if you Google curepots.org, you'll find our website. So thank you very much.
Oh, wait a minute.
Let's get a
Let's get a
picture.
I'll do a
picture.
picture. Okay. I'm tall, so maybe put me in the
Stand
back.
right there.
Do you want your husband with you?
Yeah, I guess.
Come on. Here we go.
I was, but I'm sorry.
You didn't, say that? There you go. Well, how about that?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
I will-
Thank you. Great job you guys are doing.
You wore turquoise, did you even know that's our color?
See that, that's right, see, that?
So we'll see you
I
in the
was,
vote.
I was, I was clued in.
Our family is 6-time trophy winner. Wow. The pink Cadillac, we've got it everywhere. You race everywhere. You need us to go to vote.
You should build my boat. All right, well, Julie, thank you. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Be well.
No, thank you. I don't think
Yeah, we're supposed to.
this is the best that I have. All right. We have one more absolute treat for you. Harriet Haas is going to sing us Halloween songs. And as we say all the time, this is somewhat of a variety show, and we have something for all, including the children that are here tonight. So this is Miss Harriet Haas, and she's going to come up and sing Halloween songs for us.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad there's some children. Well, Halloween is scary. Ugh. Halloween is real scary. Yes, goblins and everything. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash. It caught on in a flash. He did the mash, mash, mash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrode. They did the mash. They did the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. They did the mash. It caught on in a flash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking. All were digging the sound. Igor Unchained, backed by his baying hound. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five. They played the mash. They played the monster mash, the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. They played the mash. It caught on in a flash. They played the mash, mash, mash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash, the monster mash." It was a graveyard smash. It's now the mash. It caught on in a flash. It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drac's a part of the band. And my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. Then you can mash, then you can monster mash, the monster mash, and do my graveyard smash. Then you can mash. You'll catch on in a flash, then you can mash, then you can monster mash, mash.
Very good, thank you.
Folks, for those of you that are new to the audience, Harriet ushers in every holiday season with a song. So Harriet, thank you.
I'd like to say something about Harriet. Why am I involved with her and everything else? Harriet makes me very happy, and I think she makes everybody happy, and it puts everybody in a proper perspective mind.
Right.
Thank you,
Right.
Harriet.
Thank you.
You're absolutely right.
All right, so,
There's no minutes, so
no
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the minutes at the
technical
next meeting.
difficulty on the minutes. Okay. So Diane, applications?
Okay, under applications, Eastern Energy Systems sent in an application for a change of zone for Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-21-2-8, that's in Sound Avenue in Jamesport. That really,
That's
that's
it.
all I
Does
have.
that change the zone? Jeff, did you see that one? What do they want to change to? What do they want? Industrial? Good luck.
I think that's the one I wanna put the solar on.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
what
2
we,
acres.
yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, good luck.
So,
They're never gonna let them do that, right?
We're not gonna let them do it.
No, it's inconsistent with
But
the
there's a
master
master
plan
plan.
in about 20 different sections.
Yeah, okay, so that's good.
Inconsistent.
Are there any other town board reports?
I just want to say that the Polish Hall celebrated their 110th anniversary Saturday night, and we went and they had a ball, and it was polka music, and we had a great time. So if you stop into Polish Hall, it's really a great place. And then on Friday night, the Vale Levitt celebrated their 136th birthday. And it is the oldest theater on all of Long Island, so it's also a fantastic place. They have all kinds of events that are up and coming, so go on to the Vale Levitt website and help them out, and that's it.
All right, good. We've got, if there's no other committee reports, it is 7:18. We'll open the first public hearing. It was scheduled for 7:05. And this is, we'll open the public hearing concerning the appeal of J. Petroselli Development Associates to seek the demolition of an existing residence known as the Howell House located at 420 East Main Street, Riverhead, New York. It's tax map number 0600-129-3, lot 12, which appeal is taken pursuant to the Riverhead Town Code, section 241-4, from a not a determination, but a recommendation made by the Riverhead Landmarks Preservation Commission, which denied the aforementioned application. And I believe we have Mr. Eric Russo for the applicants. It's fine, Eric, if you can put it towards the cameras, we'll.
No, this is yours, we have one.
Oh, okay.
Nice, well, thank you for that.
Thank you for thinking of us. For you young folks in the audience, this is going to be a riveting evening for you.
Don't stop.
You won't wait to get home to watch Channel 22. You want our autographs later, you know. Kidding. Channel 12.
Thank you. Thank you. You, sir?
Thank you. Yankees 3-0?
Yeah.
Astros 3-0, oh. That's not good.
Give them all stuff out.
You need like an assistant.
Boy, I'm telling you.
I know. This,
One is fine, yes.
this is for the town.
Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board, for the record, my name is Eric Russo. I'm with the law firm of Van Brunt, Jesuiak and Russo with offices at 140 Main Street, Sayville, New York, 11782. We're here this evening representing J. Petroselli Contracting, Inc. for J. Petroselli Development Associates of 100 Comex Street in Ronkonkoma. The premises in question is 420 East Main Street in Riverhead, tax map number 600-129-312. And what we're here for, as you stated in the call, was seeking relief of the demolition approval denial from the Riverhead Landmark Preservation Commission. Your section of the code under section 241-5 indicates, and I'll just recite it, that in addition to the appeal process described, the applicant whose application for the demolition, alteration, or improvement of a historic structure or building is denied may apply to the town board for relief from the denial on the grounds that the denial presents a hardship. To prove the existence of the hardship, the applicant must establish to the town board's satisfaction, which is why we're here this evening, that the property is incapable of earning a reasonable return, and that reasonable return not be the most profitable return. In addition, as to B, that was A, is that the property cannot be adapted for use which would result in such a reasonable return. The code section that I'm referencing flows out of chapter 241, Landmarks and Historic Districts, wherein there is a procedure under 241-4 in which we seek a building permit for demolition and then a request for the Landmark Preservation Commission to review our request as referred to it by the building department, and we have to provide the necessary documents. That being said, our applicant in this case, myself and Mr. Joseph Petroselli, met with and appeared before the Landmark Preservation Committee after we made the necessary building permit application and its referral to the commission. The problem was we had 2 meetings, and what I have provided you with so that you can follow along is a binder that the town clerk has and that I provided the supervisor with, which she can share with the other board members. It includes in the binder the notice of tonight's hearing, the resolution that the board approved to schedule the hearing, a total of 28 photographs, 19 of the subject residence and 9 of the site and streetscape, as well as a survey of Young and Young from September 16, 1983, the tax map showing you the respective parcel in relation to its position on Main Street, and then there are various other documents that were presented to the Riverhead Landmark Preservation Commission. There is the decision of June the 30th, 17, in which they denied our application, which I will review with you as part of the presentation. There's a copy of section 241-5 of the hardship criterion of the town code. There is the August 24th, 17 letter from the town attorney that I filed requesting this hearing and the appeal, along with the letter that was addressed to the supervisor and the town board, also August 24th of 17, with documents as provided, indicating the meetings that were held with the commission on May the 22nd and June the 25th, and the relief that's being sought this evening. There is also a plan that's provided. I have given you the plan, and it is the plan that is presented to the public to the left. It is showing you the proposed parking that the applicant would seek through the proper zoning channels with the town planning department and the town board, if it is required, as to creation of 24 stalls adjacent to what is now under construction, the Preston House, with a rear access to the parking through the municipal lot to the west. The number of municipal spaces that would be removed out of the municipal lot would be moved into the proposed parking of 24 stalls and designated as 4 stalls, which is what would be removed, for the use by the town in relation to that parking space. So that although one lot is being diminished, it's being created in the other, leaving a total of 20 that we would hope would be used in connection with the Preston House. That being said, there's also a letter of May 22nd of Mr. Andrew Jambertone Associates, our architect, who discusses the building condition. There is also a May 22nd letter from J. Petroselli Development Associates talking about the demolition of the property and the costs, which, in order to demolish the building without abatement costs for asbestos, comes in the range of $175,000. There is a letter of June the 26th from Breslin Appraisal Co., who is our property appraiser, which provided the information as to the valuation of the property in reference to and relation to the section of the code that we must demonstrate. And then there are 28 photographs, 19 of the subject property, internally as well as externally, 9 of the area and the streetscape, as I referred to previously, and alternative plans. Because as part of the inquiry into the demolition and the discussion with the Riverhead Landmark Preservation Commission, they asked us to provide them with alternatives. Alternative 1, which is in the documents I provided to you, it's labeled number 2. I believe that one is the one where they asked that the house remain and parking be placed behind, which would allow for the driveway and then alternate parking in the rear. Alternative 2 is the entire parcel being eliminated with access into the parcel coming from the municipal lot and no access on Main Street, showing a total of, I believe, 29 parking spaces. And alternative number 3 is with access off of Route 25 going into the parking lot being created, as we presented it to the board, the commission at the time, so that they could see that we were discussing and referring to various alternatives, not just our preferred choice, but so that everybody could have a full understanding that we evaluated and had tried to see of ways and benefits which we could either preserve the house or demolish the house, and what the alternatives were. The proposal that we have before you this evening is one that we're asking again for you to review the decision of the commission, and as part of that review, grant and approve the demolition of the structure as it exists. With me this evening is Andrew Jambertone, who did an evaluation of the structure and who's going to present to you and verify to you and any questions you may have as to relating of the condition of the residence. Also with me is Tom Wolpert from Young & Young, who is our project engineer, who designed the parking lot through their office, which the public is seeing in front of them. And we also have John Breslin, who prepared the valuation for the property and did the analysis in looking and in keeping with the recommendations of the commission, so that he can walk you through it, and if the board has questions, he can respond, as the other two can also, as to any concerns or questions that you have regarding this particular project. The elevation that you're seeing in front of you, the colored one that's I presented to each of you individually, is also being shown to you and the public, is one that was prepared by J. Petroselli Development Associates through their graphics department. So it gives you a sense of what the project would look like when the Preston House is completed in their vision, and when the parking lot with a little landscaped park in front would look like with a pond in their vision in terms of how it would be developed. That being said, one of the reasons that we're providing you that is because I want to review with you briefly the Landmark Preservation Commission correspondence and denial of June the 30th. One of their concerns that they pointed out is when they talked about the significance, and again, I refer you to the photographs, they talk about, and I'm sure the commission chair is here and he may be articulating to you exactly where their thought was and how we progressed along that way and how they reached their decision after our presentation. But they talked about the significance of the style of the architecture as a single style popular in the late 19th and 20th early 20th century. They talked about assemblage of 3 important structures that are on Main Street that should be preserved in order to eliminate an unsightly gap in the streetscape. They talk about demolishing of this historic structure would alter the character of downtown and continue to be chipped away as to the downtown look for historic structures. They referred to and brought to our attention the 1905 B. Frank Howell, which was one of Riverhead's leading old families, who, in this particular case, they tell you about the family background, they tell you about how he was town supervisor, they tell you about the people who attended his funeral. So, Mr. Supervisor, I hope you have as large an attendance in the 21st century as the supervisor in 1905. And in addition, it referred to articles in the County Review.
Let's not rush it.
I'm trying not. It referred to articles in the County Review in which Riverhead's real estate boom was being constructed and that this property was developed as it related to real estate downtown. And then they did an analysis. And here's the problem that I was very frustrated and got very aggressive with the commission, because they talk about the fact about a financial incentive. And the financial incentive that they offer is that if the applicant should agree to allow this to be preserved, the applicant can benefit from federal and state tax benefits in terms of its construction and how you can have deductions on your corporate returns to allow for this to the tune of 40% of a realized combined federal and state rehabilitation tax credits. Now, the problem with that, when we went through the math, and I explained to them, because I also provided to you, as well as to them, a copy of the contract of sale to purchase the property. The property is being purchased for $250,000. We do not yet own it. It's tied up in an estate, which we're hoping to close within the next 30 or 60 days. But the point is, what we're paying for it versus the demolition cost, in addition to any asbestos, which we cannot quantify at this time. When you look at that and you start to look at the cost that we figured out would be proposed for the creation of the parking lot, the cost of maintaining the house and refurbishing it for either an office use, which was one of their proposed suggestions, or a bed and breakfast, or a residence. So the applicant and I acknowledged their courtesy of trying to provide us a tax way through this, and they also offered assistance, as stated in the letter, that instead of taking this down, we could seek to acquire properties further north on Ostrander Avenue. And in doing the acquisitions north, they would help us and assist us and benefit us by coming and supporting the applications to the town board or to the planning department or to the ZBA for variance relief in hopes that we would build parking north on Ostrander and not on Main Street. Except the Preston House is on the corner of Main Street. The parking lot across the street is a parking lot that was created in a conjunction with the Hyatt Hotel and Aquarium for the benefit of parking. We lease space further up the street, as your board is well aware, in Ostrander. And in addition, the applicant, although we were listening to the suggestions very patiently with the commission, we looked at the fact that we've already acquired the Preston House. We're renovating the Preston House as a historic structure with the hotel behind and keeping its integrity. We've also acquired from the town the East Lawn House, and we're renovating and maintaining that structure, which is not fully occupied. And at $10 a square foot, the remaining 1,000 square feet is not being rented as office space. And we've created a parking lot across from the East Lawn House at 543, where we've created parking stalls in there that after 2 years, we got a building permit within the last 30 days so that we could finally construct the parking much needed on Main Street. And because the town code has a provision in it, and I believe the section is H301, section 321, or it's H, it says that within 200 feet of respective zoned property, whether it's DC1, DC3, DC4, and we have an approval previously for 543 with East Lawn, you can create parking, and we don't need a change of zone. And although our Preston House property is part of the Riverhead Town IDA with a lease back for the benefits we got for it, this property we want to keep separate and apart, and we want to keep it on the tax rolls, and we want to develop it and improve it so that it can be used in connection with the Preston House and any other ancillary parking requirements on Main Street, because there isn't enough parking on Main Street to get through that, in addition to the fact that the applicant, through the 543 application and through this application for Preston and this, has been improving through the New York State DOT, as discussed and represented at prior hearings, lighting to eliminate street, what you refer to as the crossing guards, so that there is a light there or a blinking signalization to allow for better flow of traffic on Main Street. So the commission's analysis, in our opinion, was flawed. And flawed because although they're telling us we should develop up Ostrander, and flawed because they're telling us we can have tax incentives, they're not aware of the corporate structure of the J. Petroselli Development Associates, and I appreciate them wanting to help us with our clients' accounting, but it's really none of their concern to be of benefit to review our books and figure out what's the best tax advantage of our client. That being said, the commission denied the application after 2 meetings, and in conformity with the code section that I referenced and applied for to this board. That being said, I would like to move forward and have the architect talk about the condition of the building, respond to any questions you may have, ask Mr. Wolpert to just explain a little bit about his engineering design that you have a copy of, and then have Mr. Breslin talk about the financial evaluation. Now, we did not bring Mr. Breslin to the hearing before, and I just want to share, the commission's meeting is one that is not televised. There are no minutes kept, and it's a meeting that is handled by the commission, and all their members were present on the first situation of the meeting on May the 22nd, but at the second meeting, not all of the members were present. And with no minutes, they led a discussion that I had to refer to notes I wrote from the first, for notes that I referred to at the second, and take notes from the second to get us to where we needed to be. Your code, as discussed with the law department in your town, the town attorney, acknowledged that it was a little parsed in terms of how it's written and what the process should be for due process. So based on what we have before you under that section of the code, which is 241.5, we are here asking for this board to grant us the relief that's necessary so that we can proceed and continue with the construction and completion of the Preston House with the creation of a parking area to the west of it. If you have any other questions of me, I will pause at this time and ask Mr. Jambertone to come forward. And if you want to swear in the 3 witnesses, that's up to you. But they've all been asked to attest to their correspondence and any questions you may have.
It's not a special permit hearing, it's sort of a hybrid. Do you want to swear them in? Probably should. Yeah, we'll swear
Do you
them
have
in.
any questions?
Does the board have any questions, or we move forward with the next?
Then I would ask that Mr. Jambertone come forward,
We'll
and
swear you in.
perhaps he could
I think that's appropriate.
review with you his inspection of the property. And when you look at the inspection of the property that he's referencing, you can look at the various photographs that I provided in the binder to the town clerk and the town board to review. And the photographs, there are 19 in total, and then 9 of the area. Mr. Jambertone.
Emery, do you want to swear? Mr. Bartone, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Andrew Jambertone of Andrew Jambertone Associates, having offices at 62 Elm Street, Huntington, New York. I was asked by Mr. Petroselli to come inspect the subject premises for its suitability and capability to possibly be renovated or reused.
Are you a licensed architect?
I'm a licensed architect in the state of New York. My practice focuses on the design and construction of historic, classical, and traditional homes and buildings. My office actually occupies an 1870s Victorian that was renovated, so I'm very well versed in this type of architecture. When I first visited the site, the first thing you do is you make you see the appearance of the building. The building has not been maintained for many, many years. Besides the lack of maintenance, there are numerous defects in the roof, both in the flashing and the roofing itself, which have resulted in water infiltration over a long period of time throughout the house. So we discount the aesthetic value of the house because the aesthetics can always be changed, and we look at the structural integrity of the structure itself. When you go through the structure, you see throughout every floor level and at every major structural component of the building, we find extensive rot resulting from the long-term water infiltration in the premises, starting from the roof rafters and working its way down. The balloon frame structure is subject to failure. It really left unattended for any period of time. It would only be a matter of time before the building came down. When we evaluate buildings for historic preservation, we look at their potential suitability to be to replicate what the original historic integrity of the building was versus whether there's any redeeming value to it. Regardless of the historic nature of the house, due to the extensive structural damage and deficiency in the structure, it would be virtually impossible to bring this building back to life. It would be, you'd have to build a new building in its entirety. So if anybody has any questions regarding...
Just on your resume, so how long have you been a licensed architect and how long have you been practicing?
28 years licensed. I've been practicing full 28 years.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does the board have any questions?
No. Can I ask one question?
Yes, miss?
Did you come up with a monetary figure of $670,000 to rehabilitate the premises, or was that somebody else's figure?
It was in conjunction with Petroselli Contracting.
Okay, so did you yourself issue any report regarding the monetary figure to rehabilitate the structure?
I don't believe I did, no.
Okay. You did not. So, Eric, perhaps you can answer the question for me. Who prepared the estimate of $670,000?
That report was prepared by J. Petroselli Development Associates, and Mr. Petroselli's here and can elaborate on that if you're seeking for that information. But that is one of the documents that we presented to the Landmark Historic Preservation Commission when we were discussing it, because after our first meeting on May 22nd, they were asking for dollars and cents specifics as to how they could evaluate, because their concern and focus, as stated in the section of the town code, is that you show that there is a reasonable return, not necessarily the highest and best, not necessarily the lowest, but establish the cost of where you're going. So based on their criterion and their discussion points, we then provided that information, and we didn't recreate it to come to you. We took what we gave as part of the denial and brought it to this board.
And Mr. Petroselli is the applicant along with yourself, correct?
That's correct, and Mr. Petroselli is in the construction trade, as the family has been for decades.
Okay, did you retain any independent appraisal evaluation regarding that estimate of $670,000?
As to that particular estimate, no, but Mr. Breslin, who will testify for you, has a discussion, as is indicated in his appraisal that was provided for the board.
Okay. You don't want me to get into that?
No. Councilwoman Giglio?
And I just want to point out for council and the board's edification, your code is replete as to what needs to be provided. It had to be created and tried to figure out what would be the best information and how best to proceed to get to the numbers that were referenced vaguely in the code section. Just, I know you're looking for something specific, but refer to the code.
Councilwoman Giglio has a question.
Have you done you've represented that there's no reasonable rate of return on restoring the historic structure. Have you done an analysis as to what could be collected as far as rent is concerned if you were
I'll let
to?
Mr. Breslin address that, because what I was trying to just summarize in my part was that we have established, and Mr. Breslin's report will reflect it, that there's various open office space for rent throughout the village. There's also a lack of desirability to have a residence on Main Street, and there's also a question as to, in terms of the other uses, like a bed and breakfast, why would we want to put a bed and breakfast, as suggested by the commission, next to the hotel that we have, a boutique hotel that we're spending millions of dollars creating, that this board has approved?
Okay,
So
I didn't see that report in this binder. Is it in there?
The Breslin report is in that binder.
The Breslin report is in there, but all I saw were the appraisals. I didn't see another report in there from Mr. Breslin. So,
That's Mr. Breslin's. I'll let him come and testify, Jody, and
Okay.
Mrs. Giglio.
Who are you gonna,
I'm
Mr.
asking
Wolpert?
Mr. Wolpert to
Okay.
explain what we're proposing to put, should the board grant our request to demolish the structure.
Mr. Wolpert, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, and staff. My name's Thomas Wolpert. I'm a civil engineer with Young & Young in Riverhead, 400 Ostrander Avenue. I've been asked by Mr. Petrucelli and his council to talk a little bit about the configuration and components of the proposed parking lot that are shown on the plan that I believe you have before you. It should be referenced conceptual plan C.
Ours are 1, 5, and 6, I think.
Basically, this plan depicts the configuration of a new asphalt parking lot consisting of 24 parking stalls in accordance with town code, 20-foot length, 10-foot width, with a 24-foot aisle in between. Together with proposed drainage structures that would also be designed in accordance with town site plan requirements. As Mr. Russo had indicated, the access to this parking lot will be through the municipal lot to the west of this parcel, towards the north end or rear of the parking lot. And we're proposing a 20-foot wide paved connection to the existing, from one parking lot to the other. The new parking lot pavement will be lined with Belgian block. We're proposing planted buffers on all 4 sides, north, south, east, and west. The plan also depicts some of the site amenities, which are concentrated at the south end of the proposed lot, and they consist of 2 benches, some masonry pavers, a 4-foot high estate fence that would match the fence being installed in front of the Preston House project, decorative bollards, and also landscaping. And I'll also note that the total area of this lot is about 1/3 of an acre. And of that, the asphalt pavement will comprise about 68%, and the landscaping, the remaining 32%. So it's not a real aggressive parking plan, but one that I think is in conformance with the spirit of the DC-1 zoning requirements. And that's it.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody on the board have any questions? All right. Mr. Wolpert? Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, in order to respond to Ms. Prudenti's concern and question, what we did is we also have a listing that was prepared by J. Petrucelli Development Associates for the cost as it relates to the project. And what will take place at this moment is I'm going to have Mr. Jambertone review that with you, and hopefully that'll respond to your questions. Okay? It would definitely be, the board does not have a copy of it, but Ms. Prudenti and...
We're going to leave it open for written comments for 10 days, so you can submit it.
Well, I'm saying you have it for the record. He's just pulled that section out so you can ask and he can answer your questions.
Excuse me, can I ask a question? Do you know how long this house has been vacant?
30 years.
I know.
No, do you know?
It's been,
The bottom line, I know that we've been in contract for over 7 months. I know it was attempted to be acquired while they were doing work across the street, which was back to 1998, as it related to the construction of the hotel and the aquarium facility. I don't have a date specific, but I'm sure Mr. Wines, if he's president at the hearing, could maybe give you that information, or we can go look it up online.
My guess is it's been vacant 20 years, John.
It has been,
That-
it's
which
been
is
vacant
why-
for
20 years.
a very long time, and if you don't purchase the property, it's gonna be vacant for a very, very long time after this.
And
So, I mean,
my recollection, because I did represent the Bissett and Petroselli family for the development of the aquarium as well as the hotel, and I know that they were in search of properties around to find additional parking, and this was one that was being considered, but because they had a very inflated price, we did not proceed, and we did not have interest in it. The price has gotten more realistic, and so as I indicated, it's $250,000 that we're paying, and it's through an estate.
well, yeah.
And
I
that
rode around
contract is
today,
in-
and it's really in deteriorating condition, because it has been vacant for a very long time. So, anything that would pick up East Main Street, I would go for it. Thank you.
So,
All right.
Eric, I don't have a detailed cost estimate identifying the
Can I
breakdown.
see your book?
Sure.
It's in there already.
Is it?
Yeah,
It's gotta be.
it's in there, I
Is
saw
it?
it. Mhm.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I looked.
It's in there.
Well,
It's in there.
I can't believe it's not here.
It's in there.
Oh, you mentioned it's part of the appraisal.
It's the part of the appraisal. There's the document.
All right, why don't we proceed with the testimony?
Okay.
Okay. I just had the opportunity to take a look at this, and I am well-versed in construction. I've been in construction all my life, and a lot of the work we do is on a design-build basis. The first thing that I find that may be deficient in this estimate is the fact that it presupposes that there's enough structural integrity to actually rebuild the house using conventional methods. The other thing that's lacking here also in terms of expense is the cost of asbestos abatement and lead paint removal. But in looking at these numbers, I think they're actually fairly optimistic. When we take a look at such things as selective building demolition at $26,000, assuming there was any benefit to the existing structure, trying to take everything down that's damaged around it selectively so that the house does not fall down, I think would cost considerably more than $26,000. I think when we look at the numbers here, foundation, $46,000, you're gonna build a foundation around the existing foundation there. Rough carpentry at only $16,000. Insulation, roofing, $59,000. I think their numbers are not exaggerated at all. In fact, I think to a certain extent, they're probably a bit light. I would suspect that if a true remediation were attempted on this building, it would probably cost considerably more than what's indicated here, because I think the structure is woefully in disrepair far beyond what was anticipated in looking at these numbers. I think this is a very optimistic view of what it might cost to renovate.
And that was, what, 600 and,
$670,000.
you still have, there's still vacancies in the East Lawn building?
Yes. There's approximately 1,000 square feet in East Lawn that is not occupied at this time. It is only occupied by, I believe it's the Wine Council and the town. And if you move out, then it's only the Wine Council.
We're not going anywhere, we got a great
I'm
lease
just-
with a good landlord
Just pointing that
for
out.
now.
You are a partial tenant in the building that we took over and agreed to renovate.
It's beautiful. All right, do you have anybody have any more questions for their architect? Well, then we'll bring Mr. Breslin
That
up.
being said, then I'd ask Mr. Breslin to come forward and review the appraisal. And Ms. Prudenti, did he answer your question?
Yes, I mean, I'm certainly not gonna get into the construction aspect and.
But I just wanted to indicate you did have numbers and you now have someone attesting to the numbers.
All right, Mr. Breslin, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank
My
you.
name is John Breslin. I'm the principal and president of Breslin Appraisal Company with offices at 44 Elm Street in Huntington. I was asked by Mr. Petroselli through Mr. Russo's office to study this proposal and give opinions and come to a conclusion with respect to the standards under your statute with respect to the hardship section, the idea of looking at the ability of the applicant to demolish this structure and what if it would be a hardship in order to retain the structure. Quite frankly, my analysis was very easy. When he's talking about paying $250,000 for the property and the cost of $670,000 to renovate it brings the cost of it almost over $900,000. There are 2 buildings for sale around the corner on Ostrander that are restored colonials of the similar style, size, and everything that are on the market for under $400,000. So clearly, nobody can you can't match that. Now, granted, the one on Main Street would be worth a little more because it's a better location than being on Ostrander, but the difference is not enough to equate that. So clearly, the dollars don't make any sense to restore this, to spend that kind of money. And Mr. Giambertone went through it, and if you, I don't know if any of you see it from the outside, obviously, and you can see that it's dilapidated, it's been vacant for many years. As long as I can remember, it's been vacant. If you see the pictures of the inside, you can see it's completely ruined inside. To restore it, when I looked at the numbers, they didn't strike me as being high in any respect. It seemed to me that to restore it didn't make any sense. It would have to come down and be rebuilt. And that's often the case. To rebuild something that's older costs more than to build something new. You might be able to build something new that would cost less. So by demolishing it and with the plan, the streetscape provides a nice look of along Main Street, but it also provides necessary parking, which is obviously something that's a benefit to the business community in that area and the town as a whole. So clearly, the applicant can't get a return. There are existing buildings for sale that are far less money than what this ultimate project would.
Hey, hold on for a second. Could you do me a favor and either ask those folks to keep it down, or we have to shut the door, and it's kind of warm in here. Thank you, Mr. President.
That's okay. And clearly, they can't get any return, much less a reasonable return. One of the other questions was asked about the idea of renting it. Again, if you invested upwards of $900,000, as was indicated, the existing building that they have, they're seeking $10 a square foot. You just couldn't possibly make any type of a return if you got to those types of numbers. So clearly, in my opinion, there's no way to get a reasonable return by restoring this building. With respect to the comments that were made in the denial letter about the use of tax credits as a means of offsetting some of the cost, I'm sure they're made with altruistic intentions and the idea of trying to restore the building. Spending somebody else's money and looking at a way to design something. There's no design of actually how to do that. It just says you can use it and you can save money, spouts a figure of percentages. But the whole idea of tax credits is you're offsetting the money on income that's earned somewhere else. So the applicant would have to spend all the money and then offset his income somewhere else to get some benefit. That has nothing to do with this project. I don't think it has anything to do with your statute and reviewing it. He'd be offsetting income that he earns someplace else as a justification for overspending on this property. I don't think that's what your statute's intending.
What do you think the value would be if you did the full renovation of the building? What do you think the sale value would be for the building?
Well, I think based on the sales across the street around, I mean, the properties listed around the corner, they're on the market for $400,000. That sort of presents a ceiling of what you could do, what you could expect to get for something like this. I mean, this would be worth a little more because it's on Main Street, but I don't think you'd be expecting to get more than $500,000 for it after you renovated it. And that doesn't, then economics don't make any sense.
Okay. Council have any questions? Councilwoman Giglio?
Are you aware of the fact that the property is up and down Ostrander Avenue are under a different zoning district than this particular piece of property?
I am aware that but they do permit a lot of the same things that the office use there is actually an office building that's for sale. So the use is similar. You could have some other uses permitted, but yes, I am aware of that.
Okay, and when you referred to the office space and the rent being $10 a square foot, that was a discounted rate that Mr. Petroselli kindly gave us to house the town historian. Do you know what the going rate
No,
is?
that's the rent, that's the rate they're asking for the vacant space.
Not the town historian.
So what is the going rate for office space on Main Street, say West Main Street, closer to Roanoke Avenue? Do you know?
I didn't specifically look. I only went by what they had given me the information, what they were trying to get on the space that they had in their building. But it,
14?
Right, so,
but even if you use $14, on those
I understand. I'm just trying to get all the facts together in order to be able to
not even
make it.
close to making.
so the representation is that you're offering this at $10 a square foot and it is not leased?
On the other space, that's correct.
So that's really the ceiling for the rent that you could get for the building?
You would expect that, correct.
Okay.
One other point I would just like to clarify. So then it's your testimony that the property is incapable of earning a reasonable return, but not necessarily the most profitable, correct?
That's correct.
And the second point that the town code requests is that the property cannot be adapted for a use which result in a reasonable return.
That's correct. I think that's clearly evident by both the pictures and the discussion of Mr. Giambantone that the building is in dire repair, and to spend that kind of money would not allow a reasonable return to be had.
The other point, Ms. Giglio,
That's
sorry
okay.
tonight. The other point.
It's another Italian asking, butchering the name. It's very bad.
I apologize. But the point that I would like to make is we're aware that there is zoning, and we've checked, that it's DC1 going up on Ostrander. We're also aware, when you look at the...
DC1 or DC3?
DC1, I believe, we double-checked the map out there, and it appears to be blue, and it appears to be DC1, unless there's a different map in
I think it's
question.
3 once you get beyond the
But
house in the back.
regardless, office use is a permitted use, residential use is a permitted use. And as far as the zoning is concerned, the parking we're seeking within 200 feet of an existing use would be a permitted use, as we've already gotten approvals from the planning department and the zoning board of appeals for our property at 543 Main Street, where we have parking across the street from the East Lawn House. So our concern here, and what the Landmark Commission has come forward and suggested, by the properties going up, it's part of our historic district that we just created and sanctioned, and we'll support you in terms of the zoning board of appeals and in planning to try and allow that to be demolished, some of those houses where it's not as visible, because it's right in their decision, as it is on Main Street, and we'll support you with parking there. But the concept, although an albeit altruistic one, is spend more money, Mr. Petroselli and your family, buy up all of Riverhead, make it in a parking lot going north. When you look at the concept of the Atlantis Hotel, the Atlantis Aquarium, the Preston House, it has always been a symbiotic relationship between the town and the two developers to create parking on behalf of the town through the town's auspices and develop so that it'll improve the quality in downtown of life. When we had hearings before the IDA, when we've had hearings before this board and the planning zoning board, the public came out and thanked this project and the other projects for the boom that's coming into Riverhead as a result of being the first ones to come in here in 1997, 98 and start creating the turnaround that you're seeing now. So it's part of the fermentation of a process that they invested in, and with your support, they need to continue because the parking's a requirement. I don't have anything else at this time.
Okay. Board have any other questions? You know, I think he said all that with one breath, too.
I think so too, all right.
I did.
All right, I'm going to open up to public comment, but I'm going to start, does the Landmarks Preservation Commission wish to comment first? We'll let you comment first because you're not really the public. And then we will open it up to public comment. Richard Wines, you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
For everyone else here, I'm Richard Wines, and I'm chair of the Landmarks Preservation Commission, and a few of my colleagues are here with me. And I just want to take a few minutes to explain why the commission did deny the request to demolish this fine structure. But before I do that, I want to say that, we love Joe Petroselli. Joe has done a lot for Riverhead. He's both brought a lot of development here through the hotel and the aquarium, but he's also done a lot for historic preservation. So in many ways, he's our hero. He came to us a few years ago and wanted to demolish the Preston House, and instead, he's done a wonderful restoration of the Preston House, and I give him a lot of credit for that. And then he went down the street and did something that probably doesn't necessarily make financial sense, but bought East Lawn, and again has done a beautiful restoration job at East Lawn. So,
Thank goodness.
so I want to say thank you, first of all. He deserves a lot of credit, a lot of praise from the town board for everything that he's done. But I do want to explain the pickle that we're in as a Landmarks Preservation Commission. And Mr. Russo couldn't have said it better than, or I can't say it better than what he really did. I mean, we do think that the Howell House, which is the one right next to the Preston House, it's shabby on the outside, but this was a beautiful house at one point and could be made into a beautiful house again. This is a picture of what it looked like back around 1905. Unfortunately, we don't have the budget that Mr. Russo does to do fine graphics here, but we work on zero budget, by the way, from the town board. Zero budget and zero salaries. But anyway, it was and this is the Preston House here on the corner, and this is the Howell House next to it, and the next house is unfortunately gone, but the next one is currently the Tuttle Agano Funeral Home. So it's a wonderful way to come into Riverhead if all three of these houses were restored in good shape. So I don't think we need to say any more about that. And we do have to raise questions about, do we really want to line Main Street, the entrance to our beautiful town, with parking lots? Even if there is a strip of landscaping in front, it's still going to be a parking lot, no matter how you look at it. And it doesn't seem like that should be the goal of redeveloping Riverhead. It seems like it should be a strip of beautiful buildings that people are going to want to see, not cars parked there. A few other things I want to mention. One thing Mr. Russo hasn't mentioned in his analysis in talking about this is, in fact, by demolishing the Howell House, they only get a net gain of, and you won't believe this, 11 parking spaces. All the rest of the parking spaces they're talking about could be done anyway. And we think there's actually a much better plan. And that is, we understand that Petroselli Associates is also either owns or is in contract for the parcel immediately behind the new hotel. And we think if that parcel if that house were demolished, which is not nearly as historically significant, nor is it have the presence on Main Street, has no presence on Main Street, of course, that lot could be, you could put parking back there, and the parking could continue into the back part of this lot. You would not have the situation they'll have now. Do you realize to park a car from their hotel, they'll have to go out onto Ostrander Avenue, out onto Main Street, down Main Street, turn into the parking lot next to the funeral home, and then eliminate some parking spaces there, and then go into this parking lot. I mean, it's a very awkward situation, whereas if they took the lot right behind it and made that as parking, and then connected that to the back part of this lot, we think there'd be a net gain of 40 parking spaces, which is a whole lot more than this plan will get. We recognize there could be some challenges from zoning there. It would probably require approval from the ZBA, but certainly the master plan calls for flexibility if historic preservation is at stake here, and we think it is. So as Mr. Russo said, we are committed to doing everything we can as a commission, and I hope the town board will be too, to make an alternative plan like that possible. We think certainly looking at the exterior of this house, everything I can see on the outside looks like it's in reasonable shape. It's shabby, certainly. It hasn't been occupied. The pictures you have, mostly what you're looking at is junk left in there by the tenants, not condition of the house. And in almost any old house, you can take a few pictures and make it look terrible. But we suspect this house is extremely well built and extremely restorable. But what their analysis doesn't do is they're going to be saving their demolition cost, which is quite high. I don't memorize numbers. I learned on Wall Street not to do that. But they'll be saving the demolition cost. And these tax credits that Mr. Russo has poo-pooed are in fact very real and can be used against any income that Petroselli Associates may have, or if they, I hope they're making income. If they're not making income, those tax credits can be sold. And because they're tax credits, not deductions, every dollar of a credit is worth $1 savings in your taxes or someone else to whom you can sell the taxes. So, I really just want to explain why the Landmarks Commission came to the decision we did. And what our code says is that properties which contribute to the character of the historic district shall, to the greatest extent practicable, be retained with their historic features altered as little as possible. And given that the code says that, we felt we didn't have any choice because we think that restoration is possible here. We believe that there are certainly uses that may not be a good rental house, let's say, but it could be ideal as an adjunct to the hotel next door. They've talked about putting a spa in a structure in back. They could put the spa into the Howell House and then connect it over to the Preston House next door. You could build in between the two there and add some more space there. So there are ways this could be a wonderful part of the hotel, as well as being a wonderful part of downtown Riverhead and part of the entrance into downtown, that I think would probably end up being profitable for the hotel and certainly would be a major benefit for Riverhead. Now, that all being said, I've explained why the Landmarks Commission made the decision we did. We certainly understand that the town board has other considerations, that things they need to take into consideration in making your determination here. We are aware, of course, that this is a self-inflicted hardship. They don't have to buy that house. I believe there is actually another party that is interested in buying it. So they don't have to take this hardship on. But we think it could work for them. But we also understand that to implement our plan and put the parking in the back, it's not a sure thing they'd be able to do that because it would probably require variances, and I can understand their desire to have the ability to demolish this house if they choose to. But our hope is that all said and done, when we get to the end of this, whatever decision the town board may reach in all of your wisdom, that Mr. Petroselli and his family and his company will decide that this should be another preservation victory for Riverhead and become another great part of downtown, as some of the other projects that they've worked on have been. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to be heard on this subject? Yes? No? Yes? No? All right. Mr. Russo, are you finished?
Just about. I just want to respond. I only want to respond to the comments of Mr. Wines, and it'll be brief. First of all, I appreciate and find laudable his concerns and that of the commission. However, we have provided specific testimony and documents to reflect our position. In addition, his position is unsupported. It's his own theories that he set forth both at the committee meeting that we had before the commission, and the hardship of self-created or self-inflicted hardship, to my knowledge, when you review the statute, does not bear out what is being represented. And lastly, the other boards that he's referring to are autonomous boards. They make the decisions based on 267B of New York State Town Law, and the criterion have to be established to grant the relief requested should applications move forward. And I'm certainly not aware of anybody else who has an interest in acquiring it if we don't proceed with the purchase of the property. So I thank you for your time and consideration and ask that you take due deliberation and make a decision in a timely fashion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Russo. We'll close the public comment portion, and we'll leave it open for written comment, until October 27th, 4:30 in the town clerk's office. Thank you very much for that riveting public hearing. All right, our second public hearing. Of course, I let the computer turn off.
Me too.
I borrow this, John. Our second public hearing was scheduled for 7:10.
Yep.
And it is now 8:16. And we're going to open the public hearing for the consideration to invite town residents to express their views on local housing community development needs to be met with the anticipated $200,000 in federal community development block grants expected in April 2018. Ms. Thomas, are you still here? Yes. Would you like to just give a quick synopsis of what this is at the podium? And then we will let the residents and different agencies come up and address the board.
Good evening. Just quickly, the Community Development Block Grant is federal funds provided to the town of Riverhead through the County of Suffolk. We have a public hearing where at any agency or entity looking to apply for the block grant can make a presentation to the board, and this is the public hearing, and I think we have several different presenters this evening that like to address the board.
All right, thank you, Ms. Thomas. All right, what does anybody wish to address the board on this public hearing or request funds through the block grant program? Please step up. All right, if you would state your name and affiliation for the record.
Tijuana Fulford, the Butterfly Effect Project.
So, Ms. Fulford, would you just let us know what the Butterfly it's a wonderful organization. Let us know what the butterflies do and what you're looking for. And we are limited, right, Ms. Thomas, to $5,000 per block grant? I think we are.
Let's be generous, Ms. Thomas.
I think we are. I think we are. So go ahead, Ms. Fulford. We're always seeking additional funding.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ms. Fulford, let us know what you want to do with the money.
Wait, I want to say what all that other man said.
I think you might have some very unhappy people in the audience.
Most of them are with me. So I just want to seriously say thank you for giving us the opportunity. I would like to say to everyone in the audience that the town definitely has helped in many ways, each of them collectively and individually, so I do appreciate that. But the Butterfly Effect Project, just to quickly summarize it, is a 100% free program for underserviced communities in our area. Honestly, a lot of the communities are underserviced right now with the things that's going on out there. So if we create a safe environment for young girls so they can explore their options by eliminating obstacles for each person, we do this without thinking of any barrier that unfortunately adults think of. So I feel that the Butterfly Effect Project is not only a necessity in the community, but it's an asset. By the girls enrolling in this program today will definitely impact their lives tomorrow. One of the best parts about the program is that anyone can actively have a voice, anyone can volunteer, and it goes to show the children in our community that your idol does not have to be a celebrity. It can be Miss Giglio, it can be Mr. Walters, Mr. Wooten, Pluck, Tanya Miles. It can really be any one of us. So to be able to come into the program and have 45 minutes to impact on someone's life just by you coming and being your normal self, I think is extraordinary. And with this, the way that the world is going right now, especially in Riverhead, we need to create a place where kids can be and explore to get to the next level. Otherwise, we're not going to have a generation. And otherwise, all the buildings that we're talking about building are not going to be built because no one's going to fill them, because our youth are leaving. And I want to do my best to keep them here, and I want to make sure that they appreciate Riverhead like I do.
Ms. Fulford, so I'm going to ask you a question. I think you might have some butterflies here, correct?
I do.
I'd love to hear from one or two.
Okay. Can I have all my butterflies?
Well, ladies, come on up.
They don't
Ladies,
all
come on
have
up.
to speak, but I'm proud of every one of them. I actually have mosquitoes here too. They don't like to be called mosquitoes, but Jalik and Anthony. Jalik.
What is a mosquito?
A mosquito is the boys.
Oh, the boys. So, when you can take that out, would one of the, I'd love to hear from one of the ladies if they'd like to speak, young ladies.
So can I have at least one of my two of my junior volunteers and two of my butterflies and a mosquito?
I'm not sure I like that mosquito.
So just so you guys know, they have nicknames because in the Butterfly Effect Project, when you become in your leader position, you lose your regular name and you inherit the name that people perceive you as. So that way we can teach the girls to always be on their best. So we have Happy Feet because she's constantly wearing jazzy shoes. And we have Slim Shady because at one point she literally looked like a stick figure.
I'm not going to your project. I don't want to know what my name is. So tell us who you are and your name and where you go to school and what do you think of the Butterfly Project?
My name is Janila Miles and I go to William Floyd PACA, and I like the Butterfly program because like I get to do fun things, like I get inspired by Miss T and I do stuff that I never did before.
Nice. Thank you.
So I'm going to say that I've been inspired by Miss Fulford as well. Truthfully. What's your name and where do you go to school and what do you like about butterflies?
Hi, my name is Shanissa Tams. I'm a sophomore at Riverhead High School. And I've been in the program for 2 years. I've loved every moment I've had with the butterflies and Miss Tia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Giselle, and I go to Phillips Pulaski, and I like the Butterfly Effect Project because we get to do a bunch of fun crafts, and we get to help the homeless and do other things for people who don't have a lot.
You know, Ms. Fulford, one of the things that I would say about the Butterfly Project too is what inspires me, and I'm not quite sure how far the Riverhead Town bus goes to pick up these young ladies, but it's okay with me. They can keep going wherever they gotta go to get these young ladies. But I like the idea that you're able to tie in. A lot of times we just know who we are in our own school district, but you're tying in other school districts and other geographic areas, and I think that's important because we're all part of one larger community. Oh my goodness, you're gonna say something, young lady?
She can't wait to.
What are you gonna tell me? What's your name?
My name is Isabella. I go to Riley Avenue School.
Do you like Miss Tia?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Isabella. All right, Ms. Fulford. Thank you very much. Does anybody else want to speak? Yes?
My name is Karen McDonald. I live in
What
Aquabot.
school do you go to?
I'm a big girl. I've been early volunteer with the Butterfly Effect Project, and I think the community has really become aware of Tia and her program, and we're going lots of places, and it's exciting. And she's won awards, and people want to volunteer, and people want to be part of her, people want to touch her. People say, what do you need?
Don't do that.
Right. The fact is, what we really need is we need money. Plain and simple, we do. We beg, we borrow, we think about stealing, we don't.
No.
But when people say, do you have a budget, we kind of look at each other and laugh and say, we wish we did, because honestly, we really are on a shoestring. And we're hoping to go places. We just found a place where we can have rent for an office space, rent-free for 6 months, and we're so grateful. We're grateful to you guys for the spaces you've given us for the girls, for the transportation. It's been awesome.
Did you move out of the
No, we use that space for the girls, but we actually, to qualify for
behind
grants.
EPCAL? Are you at the Straight Tree Lane now?
Yeah.
Good, good, good.
So to qualify for grants that we're hoping to get, we've actually acquired free office space for the next 6 months, but we're hoping in 6 months to be able to pay that rent. So all I can say is the money would be so deserving. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen.
Ms. Giglio would like
And
to.
I want to say something about Tia, because Tia used to work in my doctor's office, and I used to go in there crying in pain all the time, and she was the most compassionate, helpful, loving person that could be. And when she told me about this idea that she wanted to do this butterfly project, I tried to give her the best advice I could on what to do, and said, first thing you got to do is 501(c)(3). And I'm so proud of you, and you're a happy lady all the time, but you're the happiest in this element, and you're doing a wonderful job. So I want to thank you.
What, young lady, what's your name?
My name is Destiny Sky Talk,
Where do you live?
and I go to kindergarten.
Kindergarten, wow. Who's your teacher?
Miss Stromsky.
Do you like Miss Stromsky? Well, we like Miss Stromsky too. Well, thank you for coming. It's past your bedtime, guys. Because I go to bed at 9 o'clock, so this is, all right, Ms. Fulford, did anybody else want to speak? You are a 501(c)(3) now? Yes.
And Tia,
I'm
I
sorry,
think it's important to point, this is the first time you've come before the board for a block grant?
This is the first time?
Yes.
It's a shame that those developers were still not here. It's a 501(c)(3), folks, so any of you that could dig into your pockets, this is a very, very worthwhile startup 501(c)(3). I thank you, and we will keep you in.
My name is Genesis Fulford. I go to John Asselwood Elementary School, and the thing I like about the Butterfly Effect Project is that we make friends.
Is this your mom?
Yeah.
Did she say Fulford? That's your daughter? Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, safe home. Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight? That's not part of the Butterfly Project, but some of the other very, very worthwhile organizations that we have supported in the past and hopefully in the future.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Lamena, and I am representing Maureen's Haven. I am an owner and a resident of the town of Riverhead, and I am also a proud volunteer social worker for Maureen's Haven Homeless Outreach.
Hold on, guys. Could you just, Maureen's Haven's a great organization, too. We just want to keep it down. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening to request funding to support our life-saving work. Maureen's Haven provides safe, warm, temporary shelter to homeless individuals from November 1st to April 1st by utilizing over 23 houses of worship located throughout the Twin Fork. Members of 17 congregations and community organizations offer additional support and help to comprise the over 1,500 dedicated and selfless volunteers that provide an estimated 20,000 hours of community service to our guests. Maureen's Haven is responsible for screening and transporting homeless guests to host facilities each evening. In October of 2011, we opened the day center in order to provide services focused on building self-sufficiency and provide respite services during the day for those in need. All are welcomed at the day center. Clothing, food, and case management services are available. We also partner with other agencies to provide mental health, substance abuse treatment, and other congregations as well. These services are free. They also provide medical care, and most of these volunteers are doctors and nurses from the community. For this upcoming 2016 2017 to 2018 shelter season, we are hoping to establish a critically needed foot clinic. Last winter, we served 357 individuals over 115 nights. Our average number of guests per evening was 46 with a high of 53. Overall, 5,983 beds were made for the season. Of that total, 80% were male and 20% were female. At least half of our guests are temporarily or first-time homeless. Generally, they are the working poor who have suffered setbacks like job loss, illness, loss of transportation, or divorce. The other 50% of our guests are chronically homeless people. They often face one or more serious issues, including mental illness, addiction, cognitive or developmental disabilities. According to HUD, Housing and Urban Development, 2014 point in time report, 34% of the homeless population is under the age of 24. Tragically, our most recent statistics bear this out. An unfortunate continuing trend for us has been the influx of young people. On any given night, 39% of our guests have been under the age of 25. Of those 50%, they were under the age of 21. This 39% indicates a very slight decrease from the previous year, but one that is neither statistically significant nor less alarming. These young people bring with them unique challenges and risks. Many are runaways, former foster children who have aged out of the state services, or they have been victims of abuse or homophobia at home. Well known throughout the community as a safe haven, we are often the first point of entry for those newly homeless. We believe that our reputation for compassion, inclusiveness, is what has attracted so many young people to continue to seek solace and shelter from us. Through Maureen's Haven, our homeless guests can access programs that meet their immediate needs, support them through transitional periods, and lead them back towards self-sufficiency and long-term success. We assist homeless adults to acquire supportive housing through Suffolk County's single point of access, and most recently, the Housing First model in partnership with the Long Island Coalition for Homeless. We help our guests with securing entitlements and advocate for them tirelessly. In an effort to provide services to the homeless in Riverhead Town, we have partnered with collaborated with faith communities to provide overnight shelter and supportive services. Maureen's Haven seeks to be a good neighbor, so we continue to maintain our community garden in our shared yard with the aid to developmentally disabled. We are very proud of the beauty that it adds to the neighborhood and the sense of community it has fostered. We are very appreciative of the past support we have received from the town of Riverhead and respectfully request funding once again in support of our program.
Thank you very much. Do you want to give us that letter for the record? We should ask Ms. Fulford. We can leave this open, Dawn, there's another good, we'll leave it open for written submissions for 10 days as well. You do a wonderful job, and actually you make our lives in the town supervisor's office and in town hall helpful, easier, because we have referred people to you that need help that we're not able to help, so we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Ms. Fulford, we're going to leave the record open for 10 days. If you want to submit something formal, you can do that as well. Okay. Yes? Hello.
Hello. Good evening to you all. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Judy Barth, and I'm here tonight on behalf of Bread and More. Bread and More is our community soup kitchen located at the Riverhead Congregational Church right here in the downtown. Even though it is coined as a soup kitchen, it is much more than that. Bread and More is an all-volunteer organization that was founded in 1990 by some residents in Riverhead, along with a few past and present day councilmen. At that time, these founders saw a need to help some of the less fortunate in their community. Now in operation for over 27 years, we have grown to serving 3 full dinner meals a week. At any given night, we serve an average of 70 to 100 dinners per night.
Oh my goodness.
Multiply that by 3, and we're serving 300 dinners per week, 15,000 average per year. Not only do we serve soup, but we provide a full meal which consists of salad, protein, mainly beef or poultry, starch, fresh vegetables that this time of the year are provided by generous growers. Desserts are also served and mostly donated by local bakeries. Any additional foods that are left over, the guests are allowed to take with them wherever that home may be. These meals are prepared in a health department approved kitchen by health department approved cooks. We are an all volunteer organization that depend on donations and grant money such as the Community Block Grant. These monies help provide the food that we need and also what else it takes to put the meal on. So between the volunteer staff, the monetary donations, and a community grant, we are basically a community taking care of a community. Our guests come from all walks of life. We take pride in offering them a safe haven in an otherwise chaotic life. So for some of these people, it is the bridge that gets them to tomorrow. I have been with Bread and More for 23 years now, and have never tire of the commitment and the joy that it takes to help those that are not as fortunate as we are. So tonight I am asking you again to please consider awarding us the upcoming Community Block Grant. We are ever so grateful for your past support and hoping that we can all work together again for another year. Thank you.
Judy.
Thank you.
Do you want to submit that written too for us, or? Thank you. Next speaker, Ms. Stroy.
Next speaker. Good evening, I'm Zona Stroy. I'm chair of the board for Open Arms Care Center Emergency Food Pantry. And this is, I think, the 10th year I've come before the board to ask for block grant funding. I've given you a copy of the Long Island Cares Distribution Capacity Survey because it's well done and it has a lot of data which puts the work that Judy and her group do and our pantry in a bigger perspective in terms of the need on Long Island. So my letter accompanies this, and there's a copy of a Newsday article from 2006 talking about the people on Long Island who struggle to feed themselves and their families. My letter says, in addition to thank you for your prior support, it says we're again asking for at least $5,000 to support the food pantry that we operate. This capacity and distribution survey report from Long Island Cares says that this year, or last year, 2016, there were about 316,000 people on Long Island struggling to have enough food. That's up from, if you look at the Newsday article, about 259,000 in 2006. The need continues to grow. Some of these people are working poor, some are unemployed, many are children, many are elderly, and our job is to just bridge the gap between what they get from the services that they receive and the benefits they receive and what they do when they run out of money. Because many of them have to decide every month whether they're going to buy prescriptions, whether they're going to pay rent, whether they're going to pay child support. So they make critical decisions, and often food is the last thing, is the thing that gets crunched. So our job, along with organizations like Judy's, is to fill that gap so that we don't have people insecure about what they're going to eat, because that doesn't allow people to do the best at work. It doesn't allow for children to do the best at school, and it doesn't support families very well. So I want to tell you that your decision as a board to continue the community development block grant funding for food pantries and soup kitchens is a vital linchpin in taking care of Long Island's hungry. So I commend you every year when you help us out. We will work, as we always do, to earn your support every year, and we appreciate your helping us help the people who need help here on Long Island.
Ms. Joy, I just want to say that through what you're doing, what the various organizations that have spoken before you, and I know a couple more are going to speak, shows me that the face of God shines through in this town in a way that just amazes me every time you guys come. So I'm sure we're going to do well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're going to do well, too. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ron Fisher. I actually live in Flanders, but I'm here tonight to support the Butterfly Effect project. In the town of Southampton, we do things a little different. The Housing Authority is responsible for the CDBG money. I sat on the Housing Authority and was on your side of the table listening to people appeal, so I don't envy the position you're in. However, TIA needs money. If you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. If you teach a person to fish, you feed them for a lifetime. TIA is teaching young girls how to fish. She's making it so they will not be homeless. They will not require soup kitchens and all that great work that all these groups are doing. TIA is addressing the root cause. Her group is addressing the root cause. There's no limit on how much CDBG funding you can give. Last year, you guys awarded $12,000 grants. TIA needs $10,000 at least. Please, she brought people here to tell you about the program. There's a ton of support for her. The program's incredible. I've been volunteering with her for about 6 months, helping her find different pots of money, turned her on to the CDBG grants in the town of Riverhead. There's no cap on what you can give. So Riverhead gets...
We have done $5,000, and I think that we are capped. So I'm not going to disagree, but
Sure.
I think that that's what I've been told in the past, that we're limited.
Well, you have I have the resolutions from last year where you approved $12,000 checks.
who?
Hold on.
How-
Hold on.
You're not confusing us with Southampton, right?
No, this is you guys. Ms. Giglio seconded. Okay. So last year, Resolution 192, you gave $12,000 to Open Arms and Bread and More. You gave $12,000 to Maureen's Haven, $6,000 to CAP, and $75,000 to the home improvement budget. You can even decrease the home improvement budget if there's not a call for it to give TIA more money.
Yeah,
So-
no, we're gonna have to pull the reso because I think that might have been a combination, but we'll look. I mean,
Sure.
my understanding is we was always given 5,000. Yeah, that might have been a combination of 2 years together, but
Okay.
but 5,000 is always the number that we give.
I'm still making my pitch for 10.
I get it.
I
You're doing
appreciate,
well.
I appreciate that you're researching
You
it.
should have made the pitch to the men in the 4 men in the right in that
I
second row.
have pitched before more men in suits for money for TIA than I can count, and I'm going to continue doing it. It's the whole reason I own a suit. So, so please really consider her application. I know she's a newcomer to the CDBG program. She is not a newcomer to investing in Riverhead's youth, and the money will help her amplify her efforts. So I hope you
she
see a
is-
resolution in a
she
month.
is on
Well
our
aware
radar
to you.
screen. trust me.
Perfect. That's where she should be. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure that we 5,000. I don't know what the circumstances, that might have been a combined years or something.
Hello, good evening. Tough acts to follow. I'm Felicia Skakoza from Riverhead Community Awareness Program. And I'm here tonight, first of all, to thank you for your support with Community Development Block Grant funding, and to once again request the funding to help provide drug and alcohol prevention, education, counseling, and community services for students and their families in Riverhead schools. The grant will be used for services to Riverhead Town K-4 students and their families at Roanoke Avenue Elementary School. The services are provided by a New York State licensed clinical social worker. She provides individual and group counseling, evidence-based substance abuse and bullying prevention programs, social skills programs, crisis intervention, family outreach, and resource connections. Roanoke Avenue School is a Title I school according to the U.S. Department of Education. 78% of the students there qualify for free or reduced lunch, which is an indication of poverty. Bless you. In addition, in September 2017, a mobile food pantry has been implemented there due to the number of students and families living in poverty. 78% of Roanoke students represent minority groups, with Hispanic students at 62% being the fastest growing segment of our community. 41% of students are new English language learners, an increase of 25% since 2015. Most of these students come from households where very little English is spoken, which creates an additional barrier to accessing much-needed services. Many children seen by the CAP social worker at Roanoke report living in overcrowded homes consisting of several families. This creates a lack of privacy for students with no suitable area to complete their homework, as well as considerable chaos in the home. Many students also report that they are not permitted to play outside due to fears of deportation. These children have experienced stress and trauma at an early age, which has been shown to be directly correlated with substance abuse beginning in early adolescence and continuing throughout the lifespan. This is preventable, as we've heard many times tonight. The connection of these families to community resources is vital for their children's emotional and academic success. The success of these Riverhead children will have a direct impact on the economic future of our town. And as Chief Hagenmiller likes to say, for every dollar you invest in prevention, a return of $2 and $20 is realized. It's just a long-term investment that you have to wait for the results. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to be heard on this public hearing? All right, so what we'll do is we'll close it for public comment. We're going to leave it open for written comment. October 27th, 4:30 in the town clerk's office. If you want to submit anything else, you can. Dawn, what's our deadline to make a decision? Can we do it by the November 8th, or we have to wait? Okay. We may try to make the decision by November 8th, folks. All right, thank you very much for coming out, everybody.
Thank you.
Butch?
Could I, 2 minutes, have a conversation with the board? I thought there would be more people here to discuss what I heard yesterday at the anti-bias task force.
Butch, that's at the end of the board meeting.
Yeah.
This is only the public hearing. Yeah,
Okay,
this is
okay.
only at the
So
public hearing.
So that's gonna be.
That's after we do resolutions. Now we're gonna take,
Thank you.
now we're gonna take comments on resolutions. Does anybody wish to be heard on resolutions?
No. Sal's shaking his head, no.
Sal's shaking his head. Sal wants to know about $54,000 roof, but I talked to him about it. So no comments on resolutions? All right, Diane, let's take up resolutions.
Resolution 774.
Riverhead Sewer District Plant Improvement Budget Adjustment, so moved.
I'll second. Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 775.
It's 1035 Pulaski Street Roof Replacement Water Capital Project number 30145. It's a budget adoption, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 776.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post a public notice hearing to consider the adoption of the 2018 preliminary annual budget for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 777.
Authorizes the Community Development Department to apply for a Main Street revitalization grant from PSEG in conjunction with the Riverhead Business Improvement District Management Association, the BIDMA. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 778.
All right. Seeing we moved the money, now we're gonna award a bid for the Water District roof replacement, so moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 779.
Awards bid for collection and recycling of electronic waste, so moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 780.
It's coming. Authorizes the town clerk to post and publish the attached notice to bidders for the removal of household hazardous waste. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 781.
Ratifies authorization to participate in the Suffolk County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan update. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 782.
Appoints an accountant trainee. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Woo-hoo, yes. I
Wooten.
hate to see her go. She's an employee right now
Yes.
in the planning department, and she's moving over to the accounting department. So she's doing a great job in planning, and hate to see her go from there.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 783.
Appoints a wastewater treatment plant operator 2A. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 784.
Appoints a wastewater treatment plant operator 2A. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 785.
Appoints a part-time maintenance mechanic 2 to the seniors program. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 786.
Accepts the retirement of a building inspector. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes, Rich Pazlis has been here a very long time and very well known. Did a great job, and we're happy for him for his retirement. Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
I hate to be losing Richard. Again, like Councilwoman Jody said, he did a great job. But I wish him all his happiness in his retirement. I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 787.
Did you say Jody?
Yeah.
Jodio.
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 Jodio. 87.
Give me a nickname.
It appoints a part-time maintenance mechanic 1 to the seniors program. So moved.
Good one.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded by Councilwoman Jody. All
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 788.
Appoints a temporary senior citizen aide. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 789.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute a municipal cooperation agreement between the town of Riverhead and the Riverhead Fire District for sand and salt services. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 790.
Authorize the highway superintendent to execute a professional service agreement with a vehicle tracking solutions for AutoMed vehicle location and monitoring, AVLM, for the town of Riverhead Highway Department fleet. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 791.
791 authorizes supervisor to execute an agreement with the Riverhead Soccer Club for training and referee services for the town of Riverhead Police Athletic League girls and boys soccer program for the 2017 calendar year. 2017 calendar year.
Got that?
Should be for the 20, oh no, soccer, yeah, at the end.
Yeah, this
end
season's
of
just
the-
getting underway.
Yeah. Jody?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 792.
Awards bid for chemicals for town of Riverhead Sewer District. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 793.
Authorization to publish advertisement for Dow Flake Extra 83 to 87% calcium chloride or equal for the town of Riverhead. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 794.
Authorize town clerk to publish and post a notice of public hearing to consider a proposed local law for the amendment of chapter 245 entitled Littering and Graffiti of the Riverhead Town Code. 245-2 definition. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 795.
Adopts a local law amending Chapter 263 entitled Rental Dwelling Units to the Riverhead Town Code, 263-4 for rental occupancy permit required. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
This is so that we can issue summons to managing agents when an owner lives out of the state of New York. So if there's a manager on the property, then we can issue summons to them, whereas we couldn't before. So yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 796.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Riverhead Business Improvement District Association Incorporated regarding the 2018 calendar year events and services. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Doing a great job, yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 797.
Authorizes legal actions against the owners, tenants, occupants, and mortgagee of premises located at 769 Harrison Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved.
And seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 798.
Adopts a local law to amend chapter 301 entitled Zoning and Land Development of the River Town Code. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 799.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute stipulation of settlement with the Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, Local 1000, AFSCME, AFL-CIO Riverhead Unit of the Suffolk County Local 85 CSEA. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 800.
Appoints Garrett W. Swenson Jr. as special counsel in the matter of Oak Hills Association Incorporated versus the town of Riverhead et al. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
I can't see voting for this when we're not giving the highway superintendent an attorney so that he can represent himself, so I'm going to vote no.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
And I also vote no.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
We're going to table the next resolution,
Yes.
Diane, because they agreed to extend the bond for another year. So I'm going to get a motion to table resolution 801.
I make a
Motion that-
motion, we table 801.
Go second it, Tim.
Seconded.
Diane?
Hubbard.
Yes to the motion to table.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution 801 is tabled. Resolution 802.
Authorize the settlement of a lawsuit. So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Painfully yes.
Wooten.
Super painfully, yes.
Dunleavy.
I vote yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 803.
Order establishing lateral water main extensions for the Vacana Care Research, Recovery, and Rehabilitation Center. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 804.
Pays the bills. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded, vote please.
Hubbard.
Yes.
Giglio.
Yes.
Wooten.
Yes.
Dunleavy.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
All right, now we open the public comment portion. I know Butch Langhorn, we're going to take him first because I'm sorry, sir, he was up first. So Butch, if you want to come on up, we'll take your public comment. Where'd he go?
At the back of the room.
You can get somebody.
Okay. You better start moving. We ask you to limit your comments to 5 minutes. How you doing, sir?
Good
You could
evening.
state your name and affiliation for the record.
Henry Silverman, 4654 Sound Avenue, Riverhead. Ongoing dispute with the town on the corner of Penny's Road and Sound Avenue. I just want to go on the record and kind of give the town a chance here, another chance. Town of Riverhead owes me money for an easement onto my property. There's a pond on the property. The town has been putting water there. The town recently did some maintenance on the drainage onto my property. The town has two 24-inch pipes leading from Penny's Road onto my property. They're flooding out at some points, over 2 acres of my backyard. All right? And there's been ongoing, I believe when it's in the beginning, Sean was the town attorney. So it's been that long back. Over the years, we've had many meetings. We've gotten close a few times to a settlement on this.
I'd vote to settle it on.
I know.
But we
You
have not had the votes to do it.
But we're going to go back to that, and then this time we'll be voting on it.
Okay.
All right?
Sure about that?
It saddens me, but this is a pretty good constitutional issue. If we go to federal court, this is a taking without due compensation. And I know what I have to spend on a lawyer now, so before I write the, pretty sizable check here to get started again, and we've been here before, and promises were made for a settlement, but again, people change and it didn't get done.
Henry, I'll put it back on
Yeah.
for executive session with the town attorney and the highway superintendent. The issue comes down, we had it settled, but then the highway superintendent and the town attorney saw that the county was actually dumping a significant amount of water through that drainage, our drainage structures and our roads into your property too, so all of a sudden it fell apart. I'll put it back on for work session and see what the
Okay,
board.
and I have
says.
approached.
I thought it was settled.
Oh, I thought it was too. Some of the appraisals and stuff are so old that it's embarrassing. But I just kind of nicely saying, it will get settled now. So before I write the check, because you'll be responsible for
Mr.
my
Lewis, if you
federal
could
court
put that on
fees.
for exec session with
Thank
the-
you.
the town.
I tell you, I always appreciated that pond when I was 9 years old, and Mr. Evans was my science teacher. We used to go to his property to use that pond to show all the wildlife. So it's been there for quite a while.
Right, but still owe me a lot of money. Thank you.
Okay. Take it up with Mr. Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Silverman. Mr. Langhorn. Again, we ask you to limit your comments to 5 minutes, but that never works because we always interrupt you, and for that we apologize.
Should not take 5 minutes, I hope. My name is Bush Langhorn, and I'm speaking as a resident of the town of Riverhead, nothing else, okay? I got a call yesterday from a person, asked me did I see or hear about comments that were made out on the website. And I said no, and they started talking about it, and halfway through, I asked them to stop. I had heard enough that I would be at the meeting yesterday. I'm not looking to ask you guys to take his job away from him. I don't see that as a point right now, even though last night I thought it was one situation, okay, which everybody knows about that situation. And I don't know about the other two, but I've been told there was 2 other situations, and nothing was done about those either. So my attitude is a little bit differently about not taking his job. The reason I'm changing my attitude is, if it was one time, okay, it was one time. Bad as it is, it wasn't his fault. He wasn't doing the talking. Even though I have some issues with him, some of you were on the board back when my issue came up. But
I remember it.
okay,
I was
but
not
I'm
on
not
the board.
talking about that, because I don't want him to lose his job over that. But I think if it is the 3rd time, and you guys on the board should be checking this out, if it is the 3rd time, then you guys and gals have to make a decision on what's gonna happen. You got somebody that is the attorney for the town. I don't care if it's his wife, I feel sorry for his kids, I feel sorry for her. But she's already admitted, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. So he has to make a decision on whether or not he wants to keep his job, and that comes, not coming from Butch, that should come from you 5 people. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to be heard tonight?
Move to adjourn. Make a political thing out of it.
Laura Jen Smith from Laurel, and I'm addressing the same issue that Butch was talking about. I believe that this is a moment in time that we will be judged by. Not just judgment of those directly involved, but a judgment of who we are, individually and as a community. Over the past 24 hours, what have we learned? We know that there was a hateful rant from within our community. We have learned that it came from the wife of our town attorney. So far, Town Hall has only offered excuses for this inexcusable behavior. But what we have come to learn is that this is not the only time that Mrs. Kozakevich took to Facebook to air her toxic bigotry. The fact that there have been other posts exposing her abject prejudice and hostility against the Black community is equally disturbing. Not only due to the content, but by the fact that her husband did nothing to intervene in the airing of these very public posts. To quote another victim of unchecked prejudice, Holocaust survivor Eli Wiesel said, "What hurts the victim most is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but the silence of the bystander." So in closing, prejudice not only hurts those to whom it is directed upon, but diminishes us as a community, and I don't think that we should stand for that.
So I'm going to make a statement, because quite honestly, it is not guilt by association. What Diane said was reprehensible. It is, there are no words that could ever justify what she said. There are no excuses that can be made. That man has, any woman in this room that would have a husband like Mr. Kozakevich would be grateful. That man has stood through thick and thin as a Christian man is supposed to, and it has destroyed him. It is destroying his family, but he is doing what God called him to do in marriage. And I am not going to accept guilt by association. I am not going to make excuses for what happened, but I am not going to punish a man for guilt by association because he is trying to hold everything together. And I am deeply offended by statements that he should be punished. The statements that his wife made were hers and hers alone. And I will stand with that man because I view him as somebody that young men should emulate. And that's...
But Sean, when a good man sees evil, he should do something about it. And this, I think it's the obligation of this town board to see if he has liked the comments that his wife has continuously made on Facebook. I think you have an obligation
Okay, you've
to
made your point.
find that out.
We understood your point. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't even think he was aware of it.
How you doing, sir?
Good evening.
You get to state your
My
name
name's-
and affiliation or where you live, Hamlet, not your physical address, for the record.
Hello, my name's Darren Harden. Good evening.
Good evening.
And I live in Riverhead. I've been living here since I was a little boy. And, you know, first thing I need to do is compliment the proceedings on addressing God in the beginning, which is very important. And also, you know, just to state that I was very proud of my town since I've been here. And the fact that when my mom passed away, I was so impressed by the fact that Riverhead Town Police stopped traffic for her. That took a lot for me. That made a lot for me. But the fact that now you just addressed the fact that we're not guilt by association, when the fact is most things are affiliated with your association. That's why our president is going after MS-13s and all these different people. So guilt by association is definitely a factor in this case. The fact that she mentioned slavery, and then went on to mention President Abraham Lincoln abolishment of slavery. So the fact that you're talking about associating us with today what went on years and years ago, and the attitudes and the actions are expressed on paper. Or today, we don't have paper, we have social media. She expressed her attitude and her actions, and the fact that you're saying that her husband knew nothing of this and does not associate with that, I differ. I can't explain.
I'm gonna tell you something about that man. This is a guy that if he knew you and you got a flat tire and it was midnight, he'd be the guy coming to get you. I will never make excuses for her, but I cannot see a clear link. I will do everything I can to help this situation. And you mentioned God. I will tell you, we had this meeting yesterday, and I asked Larry Steele, who I don't know, but I'm meeting with him next week, how to fix this. What?
Larry Street.
Street, sorry. How to fix this. And he didn't have an answer. And some people ridiculing me because I believe the only answer is God. I believe the only answer is prayer. I believe the only way to change a man or a woman's heart is through the face of Jesus Christ. And that is my hope, that we get together as a community and we don't react like the rest of the nation has acted over the last several months and even before the last several months, that we don't leave somebody behind. Diane's comments may be the most reprehensible things you've ever seen, but God doesn't want to hurt you, doesn't want to hurt anybody in this room. He doesn't want to hurt her. He doesn't want us to leave her behind either. We as a community are going to be defined as to how we treat not only the white community, the black community, the Latino community, but how do you treat somebody that clearly has some mental illness issues? We're going to be defined by that, and I'm asking you to step back and pray. You're welcome to, I'll get on my knees with you later and pray, but that's the answer that's the only answer that I can come up with, and until somebody's got a better answer besides that, I'm willing to listen. But I don't want to punish this man, and I understand guilt by association, but I don't think it's right. And I don't think in your heart that you think guilt by association is right, because it's been done for years and decades to all different races, and it's not right, and we shouldn't be trying to force that. So I'm sorry. I'll let you finish up.
The fact that to do the right thing, as you say it to be, is to not associate him, but to continue to not to let this go unscathed, unpunished, is the fact that it perpetuates it, and it has continued. And we just talked about the future of our, you just showed a group of people here, a group of people with kids, you perpetuated the future, and to sit here and do nothing.
Oh, I'm not advocating doing nothing. I'm advocating that we're screwed. We're screwed because we've lost sight of what's important, and we don't know how to interact with each other anymore because we've lost sight of what's important. And what I'm saying to you is, let's sit down as a community and try to figure out how to react with one another. Put the Diane Kozakevich aside for the moment, because if we can't heal ourselves as a community, we certainly can't help her. But I think she's got to help herself. But I think that we owe it to our community to heal our community, but we also owe it to we don't leave anybody behind.
It seems like that's more important to you than the apprehension of what she said and the attitude that she perpetuates.
It's not more important.
And then it also, you know, the fact that we don't just do anything about it shows that this can continue.
It's not more important, it's not less important, it's all important.
Because that's what you not doing something exactly says that we don't matter.
And that's not what my intention is. So you're welcome to sit with me in prayer, and that's where I think the answer is. But some people told me last night that I should not be praying in this room, and that was very hurtful to me, actually.
You know, I applaud you on praying, but you know, you must listen to the answers that he gives you. And the answers is that
you're right.
The answers, you can't tell me that the answer he's telling you is just let this get by.
No, but the
And
answer
then
is
it
not
continues.
the answer is not to get rid of Bob Kozakevich. That I don't believe is the answer. But I welcome the larger dialogue. And if you want to sit in the meeting, I don't know if you know.
I got one more thing to say.
Go ahead. Because these are always really long 5 minutes.
No, but this is one more. The fact that you know, when the gentleman did their presentation, there was like three options. There were three options that they presented to you that you have to consider. So, you know, I addressed every person here to, you know, do the same about what we should do about this gentleman. Come up with three options, because something needs to be done.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to be heard tonight?
Hello, my name is Susan Harden, and that was my husband.
You can pull that down soon after.
I have been working for Riverhead Transportation for over 23 years as a school bus driver, part-time and now full-time. And on my bus, we don't see color. We just see a little girl, a little boy. We're always trying to be happy and help them. Everybody be safe, because on my bus, we're just one big family.
And that's
if you do
what
something you shouldn't do, you're told that you shouldn't do it for safety reasons. If you do something good or you look nice, we say good morning, have a good day, see you tomorrow, have a nice weekend. I just think that because of social media, that it's easy to put your good thoughts, your bad thoughts, your horrible thoughts, your stupid thoughts out into the world and hurt so many, no matter what color, what age, how big or small, male or female, young or old. You have the ability to change so many people in the click of a button without thinking of what you're doing. If I get a ticket in my car for doing something wrong, it's not my husband's fault, it's my fault. He shouldn't be punished for that. I have to pay for those consequences. I understand how my husband feels because, I'm just gonna say it, he says I'm not white anymore because we've been together 25 years, so I'm not white anymore. I'm just not. So anyway, I'm not. That's what he says. But anyway, I like to think of myself as like an M&M, candy coated but chocolate on the inside. And I understand. I can't 110% understand because I am candy coated.
You think the
I
hardest-
just think I don't know what should be done. I don't know. But all I know is It's the talk of the town. Everybody knows about it. And if you say the man is who he is and what he does and his beliefs, he must be mortified, embarrassed. There must be so much going on. Any of her relatives, if they don't feel that way, or even if they do, she is the talk of the town. And unfortunately, I don't have any control over that other than to be a good person, pray that the world gets better, that we treat each other better, and to still have that smile on my face in the morning when those kids get on, because we have every single color, size, shape on our bus all day long. And hopefully the younger generation, maybe, just maybe, because of somebody just saying something nice to them, taking the time to say, have a good day, that maybe something like that happened on Facebook, maybe they'll stop and think and not to hurt one another. Because I just know that so many people, including myself, just can't believe it. Really can't.
I think that,
So, thank you.
if you look, Sister Margaret made this point. Let's look at this as an opportunity, and this is her words, not mine, to start the dialogue, because we've had meetings. It was good, because she didn't slap me around. Usually Sister Margaret slaps me around for something stupid I said, not unlike Denise Civiletti. But she made the comment that, you know, it's time to start the dialogue. We had the anti-bias task force. They have meetings on a regular basis. People don't show up. They had a really great forum last year. Nobody showed up for it with really good guest speakers. This is an opportunity to start the dialogue and keep it going. This is an opportunity to get people involved, and this is an opportunity for us as a small town not to let this to define us, not to be defined by this, but to define the situation by love. So Sister Margaret was right. Let's look at this as an opportunity, but what we do with that opportunity, that will define us.
But you were right. The stuff that was written or even spoken really hurt me. Because this town is a town of a collective people. I mean, there's all types. We have Polish people, we have Spanish people, we have any kind you want. But we're a mixed community here, and there should be no color involved.
All right. Thank
Should be
you.
no color involved.
Thank you. Great. All right. And now the voice of reason, Greg Fisher.
Thank you very much. Greg Fisher, Calverton. Yeah, first I would just want to touch on the Bob Kosakevich and Diane Kosakevich issue. And is he covered by family leave? Can he take a family medical leave for the purpose of getting his wife well?
I'm not, he would, but I'm not going to get into.
Well, that's an option. That's an option to let this cool down. That's
Mr.
an option to get her the
Kosakevich,
help she needs. If you
He is taking some time.
Good.
And
Good. There are actually National Institutes of Health studies talking about this kind of acute racism being really a mental illness. And it could be part of her wellness plan if Mr. Kosakevich is allowed to supervise it. Second issue is I've dropped a couple of copies of notices of claim.
Are you suing us again, or just the
No,
school
no, no,
district?
no, no.
Okay.
Not
Just
suing
the school district?
I'm not suing them. I'm just providing notices of claim on illegal stuff.
Okay.
And there's been 3 notices in as many meetings. But what's going on is in the first notice of claim, one of the things I said was having an active duty police officer on the school board creates a conflict of office with the town and actually synergizes a lawsuit should it occur related to that board member, that somebody could sue both the town and the school district. Also, certain things happen where, let's say he becomes aware of a felony in his school board role. He now has an obligation to arrest. He has all kinds of special duties that he would not have if he was a regular citizen.
You know, there's a precedent for this. This has happened before, correct? You know
Yeah,
that?
Mr. Hubbard, right.
Okay.
But maybe Mr. Hubbard is lucky that these kinds of events didn't occur, but they're certainly possible to occur. So I've dropped a couple of notices. There's going to be a few more notices to come. I don't want to do them all at once.
With bated breath, I await.
I know you're excited. I can tell. So, but I'd like to have that conversation with you, especially over this conflict of duty. I think it's appropriate for the town to establish policy to not have active duty police officers on the school board. Now, that's within your purview and doesn't violate anybody's rights. So, third issue. So I'd still like to have that meeting with you, and I've requested meetings, and maybe we can do that. Third issue is the issue of services, town services, highway services to Oak Hills. This really opens up a huge Pandora's box, and I am really offended that an attorney wasn't provided for Mr. Woodson and the Highway Department. One of the things, let's just take, I guess it's
I
about...
forgot to say, could you 5 minutes, Greg?
Right, I'm keeping it
probably,
down.
you're
Right,
you're
we're
probably
flying
2.5
through here.
into it, so.
I'm taking your time out of there, too. But we're, if you take Oak Hills, it's one of about 30 roads that would be eligible for the same kind of services as Oak Hills is pushing for. And now you open up a huge Pandora's box of liability again every time the town goes down that road for whatever purpose. It's a private road. If you were to try and make it a public road, you'd have to start bonding like crazy, because you have to look, you'd need recharge basins possibly, all kinds of drainage. You have to widen the thing. You have to widen it to 16.5 yards, which means a lot of these people are losing 20 feet off their lawn on both sides. And in some cases, it's not even possible. You'd have to eminent domain and condemn. It's not possible. So it's prima facie illegal to do this, to offer these services to private roads. And I would ask that we try and mediate this out with Oak Hills as soon as possible to get them to see the reason, because their suit is really ultimately frivolous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to be heard tonight? Hello, Ms. Fulford.
Yes, I'm back. So I'm representing about 108 girls and growing, 67 families and growing. Obviously, to be honest, I am not calling for his resignation. I'm actually calling for a different action. I'm calling for an evaluation of oneself. I'm not upset with Diane for her comments, and the reason why I'm not upset with Diane for her comments because unlike so many people, she was out front with her racism. I do not agree that she was alcoholism. I know that played a part, but my father was a crackhead, and when he slapped my mother around, he still went to jail, and I never heard the police tell him that he was going to jail because he's not going to go tonight because he was a crackhead. He did a crime, and he needs to be punished. However, I do not believe that the lawyer should be held accountable. I think as a community, we should be held accountable because when I look back at the multiple posts that was on her page, I seen a lot of people liking them, a lot of people hearting them, a lot of people Me Tooing them, and not one person said that's wrong. Not one person deleted her. Not one person said, you know what, I'm not going to talk to her. Not one person. I can't make the decision for the lawyer or any of his friends of how they felt that. But when I stand up here, I don't want to be the butterfly lady. I am a black woman, and I understand what black people go through. I understand what Latinos go through. I understand what white people go through. Everyone has a little bit of prejudice and racism that they're sharing. So the question is, how do we go about fixing it? We invest in the programs that's going to uplift our children, because obviously as adults we have failed. We have failed to bring our children together to say that we are all equal, because we ourselves can't have a discussion without saying, listen, I'm right and you're wrong, but we are all equal. So if we can't do it, how is my son going to do it? Deli, stand up. My
Is
son
that a mosquito?
Yes, my son is 12 years old, and he's probably going to be about 6 foot. And my biggest fear is that when someone see him, they forget that they don't realize that's Tijuana Fulford, so that they just see a black boy standing there or a thug standing there. I cannot risk that. I'm asking the community to come together, not for his job. We don't, because by him losing his job, it's not going to save us or make us feel any better, because you know what? Another racism or another racist comment is going to come out of it. I don't want to see us rallying here tonight because we have something mean to say and negative to say. We need to rally when it's good. We need to rally when it's bad. And more importantly, to rally for our youth, because they're going to be the ones that put a stop to all this. My son doesn't pick flowers, nor does he pick cotton, and I damn sure don't either. And I'm not offended by what she said. I'm more offended by people making excuses for what she said. I'm more offended by people trying to diverse the conversation by what she said. I'm more offended that we cannot have a conversation together. This is not the time for us to come and rip each other's heads off. This is the time for us to pull together as a community and say, okay, she said it, but what are we doing to make difference? Be the change that we want to see. That's what I would like to see. I'm not looking to tear up a family or to see someone lose a job or income. I'm not even looking to see something negative happen to Diane because she's never going to make me be outside of who I am. I know who I'm called to be, and I'm not never going to allow someone to call me anything but that. But I will say this, and I hope that we can all come together on this. We can come to 1 million meetings. We can talk to the board and yell at the board all day long.
Please don't yell at us.
But the truth of the matter is it's not going to change. We have to be that change. We have to exemplify in our everyday living, in our everyday lives, what good looks like, what God looks like. We have to stop looking for people to be the change that we want to see. We are the change. And until we as a community can come together and say, I'm going to be a good person, I'm going to see everybody as the same way I want to be treated, until we can openly say that and actively do that, there is nothing going to happen. And Denise, I just want to point out, I read some of your columns, and you had a good piece, and it said that how come, black people are not on the board and black people are not a part of the town. The reason why we're not there, and I just kind of wanted to touch on this, is because at the same comment that Diane made is echoed in our every moment. Every time I meet someone, the first thing I'm worried about, are they going to see me? Or are they going to see the black lady? Are they going to see my big hair? Are they going to see that I happen to move my neck? What part of me are they going to see? I am grateful that every encounter that I've had with the town this far, you guys have all seen me. You guys have all seen me in all of my hair pieces, and you've all still seen the good. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. But you guys have all
Some good,
seen.
not some not so good.
You've all seen the good in me. And I would like to know that when I'm standing in front of you guys tonight, that you guys not only just see the good in me, but see the good in the community. And hopefully that we can have a real conversation, a real anti-bias task force that actually is going to make change and not talk about the change. We have to physically say, what are we doing wrong? And when you say that, if you want the answer, go look at your kids playing. Go watch your child, how they go over to the house with the 2 fathers or the 2 mothers or the biracial, and that's the change. How are they doing that, and how can they learn that? Because through the mouths of babes, that's how God speaks. And that's what I think I would like to say.
Thank you, Ms. Fulton. Right. We ask you to limit your speech to 5 minutes, but that never happens. I don't even know why I say it.
I'm Ethel Sussman from South Jamesport, and my mind is so full and my heart is so full of things that I would like to express, but I will try to be brief. First of all, I think that in a way, the issue of whether Mr. Kazakiewicz should be dismissed or should take time off, it's important, but it's a distraction. And what Diane said, I don't know her. I don't know anything about her. I didn't know anything about her. In a way, what she said just opened the floodgates and revealed what's to mix a metaphor, what's underneath. There is plenty of racism in this town to go around. You see it in housing, you see it in education, you see it in lending, you see it in comments on social media and elsewhere. It's all over. And I would echo Sister Margaret's words in saying that we need to use this opportunity to actually do something and not just talk about it, whether in the anti-bias task force or elsewhere.
You are a member of the anti-bias.
I am. I'm not speaking
No, I know,
for but I am.
Thank you.
And to segue from the mention of Sister Margaret, this is another issue which is primarily, I'm directing my comments to Sean. I have the highest respect for whatever religion people practice in their private life, whatever beliefs people have, but I think that separation of church and state is a very important part of what this nation is about, and I think it's offensive to me to hear that we must apply Christian values to this and that issue. We're not all Christians. Please
No, I said God.
let me finish.
God.
We're not all Christians. We're not all believers. We're not all of anything. And to constantly bring Christianity and Jesus Christ into town hall, I think, is objectionable to me. And to make it a more political comment, which I acknowledge, I think it is very sad that after 8 years, or almost 8 years in office, you have nothing more to offer this town in terms of solving this problem, or at least moving towards solving it, than that we should all pray together. It's a lot more than that. We can pray together, we can do a lot of things collectively and in the privacy of our own homes, but that is not the only answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
5 minutes.
Catherine Kent, lifelong resident of Riverhead. I have to say that when I first heard what happened in the last few days, I found it appalling, but I think people will agree with me. It wasn't shocking. And I'm not just referring to this incident, because let's face it, this incident is symptomatic of a much broader problem. And yes, it's in our community, but it's not just in our community. It's in all communities in this country. So in Riverhead, I agree. Let's not let this define us. It was a very sad time. And I also want to say that in the last 2 days, I went to the Anti-Bias Task Force, and I'm here tonight, and I want you to know how much I'm learning. So many eloquent, wonderful speakers. And I was so glad I went last night, because I learned a lot. So please keep coming out and keep speaking up, because we all need that. And there are people in the audience tonight that were crying. This really hits us in our heart. We love our town. And this is not what we want for Riverhead. This is not what I want to see on the news for Riverhead. Yes, you're right. We need to come to the table, Sean. We do. We need to come to the table. We need to share our stories. We need to share about our lives. We need to share about our families. And we need to share about our struggles. And we need to do that today. And we need to do that tomorrow. But then that's not enough. We have to keep doing it, or we're not going to be able to get the change that we want. So let's just remember one thing for sure: we're all stronger together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How you doing, sir? If you could state your name and affiliation for the record in 5 minutes.
John O'Frias, Riverhead resident since 1976. And I am currently a writer and a part-time professor of psychology and sociology at Suffolk Community College. And in the past, I have counseled people here in Riverhead about alcoholism and the family disease of alcoholism. And up until yesterday, it was not my intention to come to this board meeting or to speak in public about this issue. But I feel compelled to do this as a matter of conscience. And as Catherine was referring to, there are problems that are occurring in our nation and in the world that this is just a very small part of. And I believe that all politics are local. So what you do can change the world. Bob Kosakevich, I believe, should not be asked to resign because of the words or the behavior of his wife. My heart goes out to Rob as a human being who is facing a great challenge with courage and with dignity. And I think Rob should be as proud of himself as his son is proud of him at this time, and at this very difficult time. And I also commend the supervisor for standing with Rob and for giving support to a victim instead of blame. At the same time, and to be consistent, I call upon the supervisor and every member of the board to repudiate the words and the behavior of your leader, someone that you are directly related to.
Who are you referring to?
I am referring to the head of the Republican Party, who some people call a Christian. Perhaps you do. This is a very interesting interpretation of Christianity that I have been exposed to.
Who are you referring to?
I'm
John
referring to,
Jandabal?
does anyone know who I might be referring to? Can I hear it? Who am I referring to? I'm referring to Donald Trump.
Oh, okay.
Okay? He is the head of the Republican Party. So my question to you is, will you repudiate Donald Trump? Because what he does, what he says, and how he acts on a regular basis is far more destructive than what we've witnessed in the last few days here in Riverhead. It's far more deceitful, it's far more destructive. What Donald Trump has done is far more offensive than anything that any citizen of Riverhead has ever done in the history of this town. So I get the impression from listening to you that you would repudiate Rob Kasakevich if he had made those statements, not his wife. So what I would like to know is, where do you stand on Donald Trump? Are you willing, as leaders of this community, and people who talk about Christianity, are you willing to say tonight, right now, that you repudiate Donald Trump?
Sir.
And run on your own merits
Thank you, sir.
for town board?
We appreciate your 5 minutes.
I'm
and-
sure you do.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, sir.
Guess what you want.
Any comments?
I-
So you will remain silent?
Sir, I think part of this is not to play the blame game, and I don't think it's appropriate. We're not, this is not the Inquisition. Certainly there are things about Donald Trump that give me great pause, but this is not, in my humble opinion, helpful. This is more of the blame game. So we're all entitled to our opinions. What we're not entitled to are actions that hurt others, and I think that we need to concentrate on the actions that hurt others. So I thank you for your opinion. You were very vocal and eloquent, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
silence, okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Good job there, Counselor.
Oh, Ms. Lynch, how you doing?
Michelle Lynch, Riverhead resident. I am a member of the Anti-Bias Task Force, and I made my comments yesterday at the task force, what I think should be happen. But I received a call today from a friend of mine that lives in Atlanta, Georgia, asking what is wrong with the people in your town. And now I've heard it's gone as far as Seattle and probably around the world at this point. This is not about one person. This is about racism that's been going on. All you have to do is, after an article appears in Riverhead Local or the News Review, read the comments that are made. It's something sad about the people in this town that make it negative comments when a man gets run over by a train, when a woman gets arrested for something she did, saying, let's get the chain gang up and running. There's something wrong with that.
You know, I don't want to interrupt, but
But you
I have
are.
a theory that, well, I think a lot of these people may not be from the town, but my theory is that these are people sitting in their basement in their parents' house in their underwear, and they don't have any social skills, so they get
You
on
may
these
think that, but there
websites.
are residents of the town that do
And-
comment on
and-
this, so
And
as.
you're right, but I
Okay,
think there's a lot.
can I have my 5 minutes, please?
You can have whatever time. Ms.
Well, I
Lynch
don't
you
know, because then you're gonna cut me off because you're
Oh,
cutting into my
yeah.
time.
I
Okay.
don't know if I've ever really cut anybody off.
No, no.
Go ahead.
I had called for what we can do as a community, and one of the things I recommended yesterday, that we have a dialogue, because we certainly need a dialogue in this town about racism, a frank and open dialogue, for Elaine Gross from Erase Racism, Fred Brewington, who's a well-known civil rights attorney, and many other leaders to hold a forum and get as many people from our town to attend it so we can have an open and comprehensive dialogue. I also think that Riverhead needs to look at the code of ethics in regards to social media and comments that are made by people as far as town employees, that you can do. You know, as Ms. Fulford said, we need to be the change we want to be, and it all starts by leading by example. My father has always said that. I have always done that. And I think when things do come up, it's up to the leaders of our town, whether it be something that happened in Charlottesville, to come out and say something against the hate that is going on throughout our country. When we saw the acts that happened in Charlottesville, there were towns throughout the country that made vigils, that did things. This town, there was no comment or anything about that.
That's not really
And I
accurate.
think that we need to go ahead and be vocal when we see things happening, that it's not, don't make excuses. This is no excuse for anybody. I have no idea. This is not the first rant that was made by this person, and I don't know, she's made others. But there's no excuses. This is an opportunity for us as a town to come together and have a frank and open dialogue. Thank you.
As I said, Ms. Lynch last night, that the town would fund that. I don't know that some of you folks, they had a very similar forum last year and nobody showed up. And that's a sad commentary on the town because it had some really great speakers at the school and really nobody showed up. And so if we,
Well, not the numbers we wanted.
so hopefully we
Not the
can
people that it was intended for.
we can do it again and try.
Anybody else?
Charles Sclafani from Wading River. I've got possibly 3 comments. One, the young lady from the Butterflies. I think she is very elegant. I think she has a wonderful program. I just heard about it tonight. And second one is, I've heard about this anti-bias group. Last night was the
Task force.
first time I heard about it. I'm going to bet everything in my pocket, and there's quite a few pennies in there right now.
Oh, Tia.
Okay. I've already got that set up already, okay, in my own mind. But probably everybody on that committee is appointed there because of a political affiliation. Now, the majority of them may be, I'm sure. How about we set a committee, starting with that lady, okay, I don't know your name, hon, okay?
Tia Fulford, but she's very busy.
Someone like her. No one with a political affiliation. Because when you have political affiliation, you have pressure. And when you have pressure, you can't do what's correct all the time. We all know that. Okay? That's my opinion. I know a couple of people who are in this room right now. One of them left, someone I worked with for 23 years. He'd make a great person on that board. He's got no politics in his head. Something to think about. No politics. And the third one is, the lady talked about separation of church and state. Well, if I'm not mistaken, the reason that's in there is because there was a church called the Church of England, and everybody had to go to the Church of England. And when the Americans came over, and there was a revolution, they said the government cannot have a church. There's your separation of church and state. You, Sean, have brought every religious type of person who wanted to come to this town to pray, to however they pray.
That's true.
okay? This is not just Christians. I understand there's been Jewish people here, possibly even Muslims. I don't know. I'm not here every day. But I do know you have afforded that opportunity to every religion out there. So when someone says they're offended, I'm offended that they're offended because I am not that religious, but I do believe in God. And if I can't say it in public because I offend somebody, get out of my way, because I'm gonna say it. Thank you.
I just want to say that these are not appointed by any town official up here. They're all volunteers.
John, I can.
And if we get more volunteers and the chairman gives us a list of names, we appoint those. We don't kick anybody off. The Bias Task Force can have 50 people on it, and we'll appoint it as long as they want to join. It's not appointed, so politics does not get involved in this.
Oh, we already
by
got
the
your
town
number,
board.
sir. Take his name down right back there in the corner.
Mr. Harden.
My name is Noreen LaCan. I am the vice chair of the ABTF, the Anti-Bias Task Force. This is the second time that Riverhead has had a task force. Sean Walter asked that the task force be reestablished in 2014 because there were issues in the town. There have always been issues in every town. We actually came together. There was a meeting here. It was a general call to the public. We all came, and there were, actually I remember that night because there was a film shown. No popcorn. The whole audience was full, and at the end they asked how many of us wanted to join the task force. I wrote down my name and a few other people, and then a meeting was called, and that's how it all began. We're not politically appointed by anybody. We probably have been known to be a thorn in certain people's sides. Right, Tim? And I just...
My favorite English high school teacher, I have to tell you.
We all come together. Everybody is welcome. I was excited last night because we had a whole audience of people. Some people that I had taught at Riverhead High School. And I was happy to see them. I want them there all the time. We've held programs, we've gone around town, I've spoken to the Council of Churches, I've sent letters to them, we've tried to be important, we've marched in the parade, we've been downtown, we've had the little table down at the county fair, we've been there. Where have you been? If you have a problem, we've always been there to hear you. We've been straining and trying so hard to be important in this community, not because it's any self-glorification, but because we love Riverhead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Noreen.
All right. If that does it,
I just have one thing that after the anti-bias task force meeting last night, I went home and as I often do, I wake up around 2:30 in the morning and decide to have think tanks with myself. Part of the problem that I see, and this is just a small Band-Aid approach, but why do we as Riverhead Local and Riverhead News Review provide a blank slate for incredibly horrible people to voice themselves publicly? Years ago, if you had a feeling or a thought or you were concerned about something, you wrote a letter to the editor. That went to the editor under certain guidelines. In today's great computer age, we have afforded these sick minds, morally inept people an open slate to spew their venom, and we read it like it's the front page of a gossip magazine. Shut down your comment section. Why do you allow them the slate to do this? It's wrong. I understand freedom of speech. Go back to Facebook's fine. I don't have to look at anybody's Facebook site, but I can't read a news article without somebody being picked on because of their skin color or their race. Why do we give a slate for them? This is just a small little situation in our town that I think would help out tremendously, because when you give these people the opportunity to spew the venom, they're going to. And by allowing these comments, and let me tell you, both local medias have had most vulgar, rancid, obscene language allowed from these people. And I think that's atrocious. I really do. And I think if you shut that down and make your policy that they have to send, they can send you an email with an editorial, but if you see that it's something completely ridiculous, I would hope you would have better sense than to post that. Thank you.
All right, does anybody else wish to be heard? Not seeing anybody, can I get a motion to
I make a
adjourn?
motion, we adjourn the town board meeting.
All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstention, motion carried. Folks, thank you very much for coming out. Safe home, everybody.
Listen, I want,
Canvas.